Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 3rd of October 2019. This is The Gap, episode 487. I'm with Lawrie. Joab Gilroy is here, and Joab, things may not go so smoothly today.
I guess it's going to be hairy because it took us fucking 45 minutes to get this shit on the road. So, for my measure, you're never allowed to rebuild a PC again. You're not even allowed to turn your fucking computer off anymore, as far as I'm concerned. Because you've clearly fucked everything up, and you've made things extremely rough on me, the guy who sits here and does nothing. Yeah.
You could have been doing something, though.
What could I have been doing?
Finding some news beating.
There's none.
There's
no
news.
First things first. Fuck you. And second of all, also fuck you. Yeah, things might not go so smoothly for another reason. I was pretty sure I was going to die yesterday. I was 99% convinced that this podcast, in general, wasn't going to happen at all this week. We were just going to have to skip this week. Because I was sitting at my desk, chasing a deadline that I fucking idiotically agreed to while sick, right? While already addled on cold and flu. And I'm sitting there, trying to write this shit. I had to basically rewrite the entire thing this morning because the deadline is at noon today. I have to send it in, and it was gibberish. It was like spelling errors all over the fucking place. I don't know who fucking wrote it, but it wasn't me. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna have to rewrite this shit, which is why I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be on at 8 so we can do this podcast. And then fucking 8 o'clock rolls around. I'm like, this is still trash. I've got to continue fucking doing this. And so I'm like, oh, I need another half an hour. Yeah, fucking. Anyway, I finished it up.
We were going to go at 1 o'clock though.
Well, yeah, that was the other plan because I was like, well, I'm gonna need I'm not gonna be doing anything yesterday, right? I'm like, I can't do shit, but I did it anyway because I'm a gunner, and yeah, it was gibberish, but it's real good now, which is nice. Yesterday, I was full blown fucked, full fucked, and I couldn't even play video games. That's how I know I'm sick, right? Because I get a cold, and I'm like, guess I'm going to play video games all day. Yeah, boy! And I get real fucking sick, and I'm like, I can't play video games, and I better do the work I'm supposed to have for the rest of the week now while I'm at my computer, just in case it gets worse, right?
Right.
That's how I know when I'm actually sick. If I can't play video games, it's over, baby. It's over. But yesterday, right, I finished doing that bit of work, right? Finished clattering out absolute fucking nonsense, and I went and had a sleep for 3 hours. Then I woke up feeling worse, somehow worse, because I already felt like I had literally gone fucking 10 rounds with Muhammad Ali. Like I'd fucking stepped in the fucking ring, right, and just gotten the shit kicked out of me. I was like, it took me fucking 10 minutes to get from my office to my bed, right? I'm like just fucking old man walking, and I'm like, every step is pain, and I'd stop for a coughing fit when I got to one end of the couch, and then I get to the other end of the couch and I have another fucking coughing fit. Like, why can't I just die? And then I get to the fucking bed and go to sleep. Wake up 3 hours later. Took me fucking 25 minutes to walk up the road to the fucking doctor's. I should have called a cab, right? I get to the doctor's, and I sit in the waiting room for fucking half an hour, and I was legit contemplating just sleeping on the floor. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I think I have to have a nap on the fucking floor here. And then the doctor, whose name is Bokta, I'm dead serious.
Dr. Bokta.
Dr. Bokta comes out, and she's like, Mr. Gilroy, I'll see you now. And I'm like, all right. In we go. And I fucking hobble my way in, and she's been sitting in the fucking office for like 15 minutes at this point. She's like, "How are you feeling?" I'm like, "Good." I mean, obviously not good. Because I just say, like, anytime anyone says, "How are you?" I just say, "Good." And so I'm like, "Good." Obviously not good. I don't feel very good. I'm pretty sure I'm going to die. I'm pretty sure I have the actual factual flu. But I say all this at about, like 80 decibels quieter. I'm like whispering, and I'm saying it really slow because it's just pain. Like doing anything is just pain. And I sit down, and she gets her thermometer, and she puts it to my forehead. It's like a fucking, those infrared thermometers that you use for checking your meat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those, right? It's not you don't chuck it in under your tongue or in your bum or anything.
They don't do that anymore.
No, she just fucking shines it at my head. She's like, "Look, your temperature," and it's like 36.6. I'm like, "That's fine, isn't it?" And she's like, "Yeah, you're not sick." I'm like, "I'm pretty sure I am."
You're faking it.
I'm pretty sure that's what she was implying. And she's like, "So do you need a doctor's certificate?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Oh, you don't need a doctor's certificate." I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Maybe we should look at you." Like, how did we get here, lady? Yeah, of course I'm fucking sick. No, I don't need a doctor's certificate. Just fucking check me. Like, please find out if I'm dying. She's like, "Open your mouth," and she like shines a light in there. And she's like, "Oh my god, you need some antibiotics. So you blah 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 blah." Gives me like antibiotics. She's like, "Oh, go get these cold and flu tablets. You'll be fine. You should get a flu shot next year." I'm like, "Oh, but
No.
I basically dodged it this year." So she's like, "Oh no, the flu can kick on until the last week of September." I'm like, "Yeah, it's the first week of October, so didn't I dodge it?" And according to you, I don't have the flu, so and she's like, "But you wouldn't have gotten it if," and I'm like, "Clearly I would have." And that's when I knew, right? That's when I knew my X-Men powers were kicking in, because suddenly I was super argumentative with the doctor, right? It was still really quiet and really slow, but I was like, my brain was in overdrive, and I'm like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna fight this!" Right? She thought I was faking this shit. Anyway, wrap up, go get my antibiotics. It takes about 15 minutes. Walk home. There's a KFC on the way, so obviously I get some KFC, and then the 30-minute journey home, walking as slowly as possible, trying not to fucking. I got to be real careful walking around my area now. 3 people have died on the street I lived in, hit by cars in the last 2 weeks. 3 people. So I am terrified of crossing the road around here anymore.
You don't cross roads anymore.
No,
you just walk around the block.
Just keep walking around until I find, At least not on William Street. You just don't cross the road on William Street. It's dangerous. Anyway, I get home. Continue to feel sorry for myself for the rest of I still couldn't play fucking video games. Took my antibiotics. Wake up this morning. I'm like, "I'm fine. Don't worry about it. Let's go. What are we up to? Let's go watch a movie tonight. Let's go drinking tomorrow. I'm about it. I'm fucking Gucci, baby. That's my.
I'll tell you what.
I'm an X-Man.
You seem pretty fine to me.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Doctor. Thanks, Dr. Botter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy. I'm definitely an X-Man, right? Like, I'm either an X-Man whose ability is to just stop, only be sick for a really short amount of time, or I'm David. Is it Dunn? David Dunn from Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Oh, he's never been sick. Oh, he's never broken a bone. I've definitely broken bones, but still, maybe I'm like the first version of David Dunn. And they're working up there. Yeah. Anyway, someone as clumsy as I am, right, should definitely have broken more bones than I have. Right, like the only actual bones that I've broken. Obviously, ribs. I've broken my ribs a couple of times.
I mean, obviously.
Well, I don't know. Hasn't everyone broken their
Does
ribs?
everyone break their ribs?
It's the human condition, right? They're rib bones. They're pretty easy to break. No,
Broken any bones?
What? You've never broken any bones?
No.
How the fuck? That doesn't make any sense. You haven't broken your ribs? Haven't you ever fallen down anywhere or anything? You just break your ribs. You just like fuck. Bleh. Well,
I've actually... There's a slight bruise on my arm that I found this week that I don't know what it is. I never had a bruise before, so I was quite concerned.
You're like, oh shit, am I turning purple? No, it's not the
No,
time.
it's like a yellow colour.
Oh, that's a good bruise.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you're like bluish, right? Lame bruise. Blackish, pretty good bruise, right? Purple, that's a juicy bruise. And then yellow is like some. Ooh, yeah, you did some stuff.
Yeah. I think something bit me, maybe.
What? That's not a bruise then,
I don't know.
dickhead. That's an infection.
Well, it's yellow. Well, okay. Well, maybe it is.
Ugh.
Maybe I won't be here next week. We'll find out.
Maybe you're Spider-Man.
Maybe I am.
Ah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. The only so you haven't broken your toes? Because I reckon everyone's broken their toes.
I think it's maybe like I've got a toe when I try and curl my feet.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah.
I think it's my left one.
Yeah.
Like that. One of the toes just doesn't move.
Yeah. See, never broken a bone. This guy.
Well, I don't.
Fucking-
Maybe I have. I've just never noticed it.
Maybe.
Or maybe my feet are just fucked.
Yeah, maybe your feet are just fucked. Maybe you got
Yeah.
LeBron feet. Have you seen pictures of LeBron's feet?
Yeah.
They're heinous. They look like those those Chinese foot binding torture
Yeah.
pictures.
They
they
look
take.
like they've been trying to run away for years, and they're slowly getting there.
Yeah, that's some fucked up shit.
Yep.
Anyway,
So yeah, I built my new PC this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully we've got things up and running. Partially, at least the audio portion should be okay. I hope.
fingers
I
crossed.
listened back to it. It was very quiet, but
You can fix
I
it
don't
in
know
post.
why that is. Yeah, no, it's just it looks fine on my end. The waves
Oh.
look fine, but when I listen to it, it's really quiet, so I don't know what's happening. But I'll sort that out later. Yeah, just having some weird sides on the video end with the plugins and whatnot. I can only really test that when you're around. Maybe I'll just test it using a dodgy fake Skype account and mess around with it. I think I'll just reinstall it later on. But otherwise, yeah, everything seems to be all in order. So I built the PC. You know, you get to that stage where the first time you build a PC, or first time you put it together, and you're like, shit, I hope this thing switches on. Otherwise, I'm gonna spend like forever trying to figure out what the fuck is like.
You basically take it apart again,
plugged
right?
in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to start from
There's
scratch.
like I don't know, a tiny cable that's upside down or something like that, or it's fallen out as you're putting other things in. So yeah, I fired it up and it worked straight away, and I was like, sweet, easy. I've had no issues with it at all. It hasn't crashed on me yet. Fingers crossed.
Did you
Zero problems.
Did you take the plastic cover
Yeah.
off the heatsink before you installed your heatsink?
I'll be back.
It's an important question.
Yes, I did.
It's an important
Why-
question, right?
Plastic cover.
One of the dudes in the third-party crew that I play PUBG with
Yeah.
left it on and then couldn't work out why his computer was overheating all the time.
Right.
And
Yeah. No, I took all the plastic bits off. So I got a
could not believe it. I'd never heard anything like it. I don't even understand how you'd make that mistake, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the motherboard has like little blue sort of like sticky tape bits. Like you can tell it's plastic, but the one on the actual, not the heatsink, but the my water cooler, my water cooler pump that sits on top of the CPU has got a bit of plastic on there as well. You know, like when you get a
How is that not
I
a
don't know.
heatsink?
Yeah, no, like there's different types of heat sinks. There's like an actual heat sink. Like
You're
a
just
fucking
flexing that
metal
you
thing.
got water cooling, motherfucker.
Yeah. I don't know. You know how you buy like a new something and it's got like a line of plastic on it so
Yeah.
you don't scratch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. And it's really hard to tell it's on there. Like you've actually got to look closely. So So yes, I did take all that apart. The computer's super quiet. It's got five fans in it. And the first time, I may have stuck my finger in a fan because I was like, why the fuck is the fan not spinning? And I'm like, trying to like do the stupid thing where you touch it, like try and spin it. It was already spinning. I just couldn't tell.
It's synced up with your... must have been going at 24 frames a second because the human eye can't see any more than that. So, yeah.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, it's really quiet. It's a lot quieter than my other PC, which is weird because it's got more fans and bigger fans and all that sort of crap. But otherwise, it's running, as far as I'm aware, really good. So I'm pretty happy with it. I'm just slowly sort of getting to the point where I'm putting all my apps back on my PC. So yeah, hopefully the recording sounds okay today.
Yes.
Otherwise, I'll keep tweaking it over the next couple of weeks.
Tight.
And then, yeah, in about 2 weeks or so, I'm moving to my new apartment, and then hopefully then the audio in terms of like the echoing on my end won't be as noticeable because I won't be sitting in a giant fucking room with open spaces and bouncing sounds and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'll get there. Getting there eventually.
Cool. Cool.
But yeah, PC turned out really well. As we were starting to record this, I noticed that my so when you build a PC, if you don't give it a name, it sort of just gives you a random name. It'll be like desktop dash and a bunch of random characters. And the random characters I got assigned is no fucking joke. It is BUT7H0, which is But7Ho. That's fantastic.
Which was your nickname in high school, so...
It was. I know. What a coincidence.
That is a weird coincidence. That's gold.
Yeah. Lots of fun.
So how do you feel about the Intel Generation X, Generation 10 announcement? That was yesterday.
I saw that. Yeah, that's just their like next super expensive fucking
priced at
like
roughly
$1,000, right?
Yeah, priced at roughly what you pay for your shit.
No, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I paid $600 for a combo.
I thought you paid fucking $900 for a combo.
No.
Well, alrighty then. Never mind then. Fine.
No, that's yeah, that's a stupid amount of money.
Oh. Who would spend that? How much did your current PC cost altogether?
This one?
Yeah.
I think it was $1,500.
$1,500 plus a $2,000 graphics card.
Yeah, plus a which yeah. What's that part?
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
So what chip have you got? The i9 what? 90.
The i9 9900. I got the 2080 graphics card.
Yeah, look, they've got a fucking Anantech have a fucking comparison chart, right? And the 10 series i9 top like flagship costs $10 less than the RRP of the 9900.
Was that an Australian website you sent me?
No, American.
It was $1,000, right?
Yes, this is the RRP. You got it on sale.
Yeah.
You got like
can't be $10. They're not.
It's the chart. I'm just telling you what the chart says. Okay. This is a chart. I didn't make up the chart. All I'm saying is it's a significant like reduction in price.
Oh, well, I don't know. Like when I look on Amazon, it's a $470 graphics CPU. That's American. So I don't know where the fucking $500 is going that you're talking about.
That's the RRP. They're all on sale because they announced the fucking 10 series.
No, it's always been this price.
It has not. Well, why would you get it for $600 then?
You go to a video game store, they're like, the RRP is $110. The only person that sells that is EB because they're dodgy.
Oh, that's not dodginess, and you've got to say GameStop now, right? Because you're in America and we're a global podcast. And second of all, anytime I shit on the fucking Australian sports games, I'm talking about it in reference to the RRP. You know, we do everything in reference to the RRP. That's how you reference things. Doesn't matter that you never buy it on RRP. Nobody who knows anything, nobody listening to this podcast buys shit at RRP, because that's for dorks who listen to inferior podcasts who don't know shit about video games, right? Yep. But we use it as a reference point so that I can make fun of you for buying a 9 series the week the 10 series got released.
I wouldn't have bought the 10 anyway. I wasn't going to buy the 9900 until it went on sale.
Yeah, maybe true. Anyway, shall we talk about some video games?
Yeah, what do you got? You've got one on here that I'm interested about because I installed it, but I haven't played it yet, which is the KFC
dating sim.
Dating simulator.
Mate, you don't even have
to. On my other computer.
You don't even have to. You don't even have to play it, because if you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/JobyJojo, you can watch me play it for you. It's 2 hours long, and I read every single line, and I give everyone their own voice. I do voices for everyone who's involved. And
Joab's starting his own audio.
Oh yeah,
Audible.
My own Audible. I'm tired of having to listen to Nathan Fielder reading fucking books, and I've decided to switch things up. Yeah, so I do all my own voices. I didn't edit it at all because I wanted to do it in the spirit of The Gap, which is utterly unedited. And I think I do a pretty good job, except for the fact that I can't do a Christopher Walken voice, but I try a lot. And I've only got one woman voice, but there's multiple women in the game.
Is it a really high-pitched, like, sort of British-sounding lady? Because that's what the Doctor was like.
Yes, it is. Yeah. So yeah. Apart from those two minor issues, you can skip having to play it and just watch me take you through it, take you on a whirlwind adventure through the land of KFC dating sim. I wouldn't recommend. I don't think it's worth necessarily playing. It was like a amusing diversion, right? Like you sort of. It's not a very complicated, like, visual novel. I guess of all the visual novels that I've played, and there aren't many, it's, like, compared to Doki Doki Literature Club, which is that fucking crazy one that I played fucking a while ago. This is nowhere near as complex or anything. This is like quite linear. I think there are only 3 real end states. There's KFC Colonel Sanders doesn't love you and doesn't want to open a restaurant with you. Colonel Sanders does love you and doesn't want to open a restaurant with you, and Colonel Sanders loves you and wants to open a restaurant with you. Those are the real ending paths that you can get to. Getting Colonel Sanders to love you isn't particularly complicated. Because the choices are fairly obvious. Like, the choices to make are fairly obvious. Getting him to want to open a restaurant with you was clearly beyond me, but mostly because he had to like answer these like quiz questions, and none of the answers were fucking seeded throughout what else was said, so I just
name the 7 secret spices. In order.
11.
11, sorry. That's why I failed.
That's why you failed. Yeah, but apart from that, like, yeah, it's got some. I don't know. It's very random, right? Like, it's very clearly done in the style of visual novels. Yeah. But it's not supposed to be taken seriously. And yeah,
sure.
When I say random, I mean like holds up spork. Random, that fucking old copy pasta about random. Yeah. Holds up spork is literally a line in the game. Like, there's zero question that it's supposed to be zany and random and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting exercise. I'd love to see more stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know. I think the joke sort of plays itself out pretty fucking quickly. At least it's only 2 hours long, so you don't have to sit there for hours on end.
Sure.
Well, actually, you literally have to sit there for 2 hours on end. But yeah, like beyond that, like yeah, it exists. And
how many times do they say finger licking good? Like, can you make a drinking game out of it?
No, you could not make a drinking game out of that unless you wanted to stay sober. You could make a drinking game out of references to the 11 herbs and spices.
Okay.
That'd be, yeah. You wouldn't get too drunk. They don't actually ham up that stuff too much. According to the visual novel, according to I Love You, Colonel Sanders, Colonel Sanders steals his potatoes and mashed potatoes and gravy recipe, and I think his biscuits recipe from the player. Right? He didn't come up with those himself. Cheeky cunt. Right. He stole them. What a fuck. And meanwhile, yeah, it doesn't quite resonate with me with Australian KFC, because we've got a vastly different and far superior menu compared to America. So they reference, he also steals the coleslaw. But they reference, like the biscuits and stuff like that, which isn't something that KFC does. We don't serve chicken with scones over here. It's just not happening. Yeah. Have you found a KFC near you yet?
There is one, but I've had Popeyes more because I feel like I've had KFC here before and it's not great.
Yeah, but you got to do it
again. Sorry,
you got to do it to
try
find the chicken challenge. We got to bring back the chicken challenge at least one more time. Now that an intercontinental chicken challenge champion.
I feel like I am at a great disadvantage with the amount of shit they probably put in their chickens over here.
You will get lovely large breasts. That is the dream.
Sure will.
Yep.
Right. So, do you think there's going to be like a competition now? We're going to see the Ronald McDonald graphic novel, or?
Oh, I call myself Ronald in my game.
Okay.
But no, I don't think McDonald's has that, the sense of humor required. Yeah, I don't think they're.
Did they kill off all their characters? Like, what happened to them?
Right? Like, I don't know.
You don't even see Ronald anymore. I think they just axed him.
It's because nobody likes clowns. Like, generationally, right? There was a generation that loved clowns for some reason, right? And then after that, somehow creepy dudes who smile too much and paint their faces stopped being in vogue, and so you don't see clowns anymore. Yeah, like, I don't know, pretty weird. But yeah, you used to see fucking, like, it used to be Clown City, right? Like, fucking, you had all kinds of clowns. You'd have Bobo the Clown and fucking Bozo and Yin Yang and fucking whatever. Like, fucking clowns for days, and then suddenly, no clowns. People don't like clowns. And I don't want to entirely blame it, but fuck. I'm sure it didn't help. I'm sure Tim Curry's Pennywise didn't help at all. Beyond that, yeah, you've also got, like, just fucking clowns are generally creepy. Nobody likes my wife is terrified of clowns. Like, proper terrified of clowns. Like, she gets upset if they appear. We were rewatching Malcolm in the Middle, which 99% holds up today. And there's an episode where the family fights a bunch of clowns, and she couldn't watch it. She was, like, very clearly upset. Yeah.
All I remember is when we're at, like, Dreamworld or whatever it was, and this fucking clown kept following her around.
And we got her to like leave her a fucking voice message. Hi, it's Cloudy from your wife's phone. That was fucking amazing. That was world class. Anytime I want to upset her, I just say, "Hi, it's Cloudy." Which obviously I don't want to upset her all the time. But yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good. Good times. Anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Burger King had their game, right? They had the.
Did they?
Yeah, Sneak King or whatever it was.
Right.
I'm sure Burger King had a game, and I'm sure I played it.
Wasn't there fuck? Is it 7-Up or something? Did they have a video game? I feel like I played something on the SNES.
Yes. And
Was it
Cool
7-Up?
Spot? Cool Spot had it.
Cool Spot.
Cool Spot. That game was fucking rad. Yeah. Like those games.
Was he a 7-Up character?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's a Cool Spot character.
He was the mascot for the soft drink 7-Up.
Oh, well, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, back when I tried to make that show that went super well because it was organised into the fucking dirt. I made that statue, and it was a Cool Spot statue. It was very cool. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I don't think we're going to see a massive resurgence in, marketed video games or anything like that. But I don't think it's a terrible idea. It clearly got them a lot of press, and I think that I don't think visual novels are that complex to make. I say that as someone who hasn't made one, but. There are some pretty robust tools out there to make it extremely easy.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, you can use a tool I think it's called Twine, and that will path out your visual novel for you so that you can have choices, right? And then you just need to add artwork in the background. From that perspective, I don't think it didn't require complex coding or anything. So it really just required the nuts and bolts, the writing and the graphics and stuff. Yeah.
I mean, you think about it, how much it would probably cost them to make an ad on TV, and then put that ad on TV, and then also put that ad on TV globally around the world.
Yeah.
In countries that speak English, I don't know what languages the game is in, but it's probably going to cost them probably less money to just chuck and make a game.
Yeah, exactly.
Brand awareness out there, the same sort of way that Coca-Cola doesn't really need to fucking make ads, but they do just for brand awareness. People know what that is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's probably going to be cheaper for them in the end.
Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a marketing exercise, but
yep. All right. While you're sneezing,
yeah, fun.
Should we go to the next one?
Yep.
I can't see because your fucking head on this thing is so big.
Sweet.
Police stories.
Police stories.
This is a new. Was it an early access game that's now out?
I don't know.
I think.
I don't know. I just saw it.
I've heard of this game before.
I had not heard of it before. It just sort of came out. It popped up in my. Steam's got the Steam beta. The new store beta or whatever the fuck. And it's sort of they're trying to revolutionize how they tell you what games you should look at and whatnot. Games you might like and whatever. And this one popped up as something I might be interested in because I played, I think it was Hotline Miami, which is a pretty fair, facsimile. Hotline Miami.
I might have been thinking of Door Kickers.
Oh yeah, and because that's in my library, I think it also sort of pointed me in this direction. But it is semi-similar to Door Kickers. Door Kickers is a little bit more tactical. This is significantly more like Hotline Miami. Basically, it's very like it's played the same as Hotline Miami, top down, enter a room, shoot people, and move on. But unlike Hotline Miami, where the idea is carnage and murder.
Yeah.
Police Stories sort of hits it with a bit of a, the SWAT approach, the SWAT games approach, where you've got a button where you tell your the perps to put their hands up. Like there's a hands up button, and you're supposed to give them the opportunity to put their hands up before you fucking blast them. You're not supposed to blast them if they put their guns down. That kind of stuff. Which makes it a little bit more tactical and stuff. It's still pretty like rigid. I would love to see it is really similar to an idea I had for a game, but it went a bit further. Good burp. It was like, so you sort of go level by level in this one, and it's you and a partner. It's got online co-op. I don't know how well that works, so I haven't played it on my own. But it's got you and a partner, and you're sort of making your way through each level. And you can only progress to the next level if you get a passing grade on a level. If your partner dies, you pretty much guarantee you won't get a fucking passing grade. If you die, you instantly have to restart. So that's basically how that works. You gain points. Your grade is based on how many points you get. And you gain points for securing evidence, for taking down perps, for securing hostages, all that kind of stuff. You lose points if hostages die, if you unauthorized use of deadly force, if you get shot, anything like that. And so that sort of impacts the process of the game, or how well you can move on in the game. Otherwise, it plays extremely similar to Hotline Miami. There's quite a bit going, like, it's quite tense, which gives it a very different feel to Hotline Miami. Hotline Miami, you sort of feel like the first couple of levels, it's like, oh, I'm not sure what how I'm really going about this. But, once you've played a couple of levels, once you've got a fucking handle on it, it turns into a bit of a John Wick fucking simulator. Right? Like, you just sort of fucking bust into a room, you'll fucking shoot the first cunt and then throw a gun at another dude and beat him to death with a hammer and throw the hammer at someone and then shoot him with his own gun and then fucking, like, move through. And once you stop being timid in Hotline Miami, it starts to turn in, like, that's the game that I think they always wanted you to have. That's the experience they wanted you to have. They were trying to make a comment on the nature of violence in entertainment. So what they wanted to do was make violence thrilling, and that I think they succeeded quite well. Police Stories, on the other hand, isn't trying to make the same comments, and like it's mostly just using the system of Hotline Miami to provide an alternative storyline, which is one focused on police work. Very similar to the SWAT games. So you never stop feeling tense every time you enter a new room, and you've only got a limited amount of resources on you. You've got like 3 clips in your gun. You've got 2 flashbangs at any one time. Your teammate can bring 2 flashbangs as well. So you've got 4 flashbangs, which means you can only flash 4 rooms, which means you have to choose those rooms pretty carefully. Anyone who's not flashed can decide to just shoot at you without you, and you have to react in time to put them down. They're sometimes real quick at reacting, so it turns like you can't see anything beyond your line of sight. So if you open a door, you can't even see behind the door, right? Like that blocks your line of sight, so you can't see behind the door. So if you're standing in that doorway and you duck back, you can't see what's in there. So yeah, it's sort of complicated from that point of view, in that you're very wary about clearing rooms. A level won't end until you have cleared every room, but you are, by the nature of the game, clearing every room anyway, because you don't want a fucking door to open behind you while you're focused. You're focusing right, and a door opens to your left, you're just going to fucking die. Because your line of sight is also, a field of view. You can't see behind you, naturally.
Yeah.
You can only see what's in front of you. So, yeah, that happened a couple of times. I was pretty good at clearing rooms, but there were a couple of, you can sort of see the layout, and there was like a fucking closet that I didn't clear because I didn't figure anyone be hiding in a fucking closet.
Did you learn nothing from Last Action Hero? There's always a guy in the closet.
That is a strong point. What was I watching? No, something, I don't know. There was something where someone said Kincaid, and I was like, why? Kincaid's from Last Action Hero, right? That's the main bad guy's name, I think. No? Am I thinking of... Oh, I must be thinking... What was that fucking... Bruce Willis and Damon Wayans one?
Stakeout? I don't know.
No. This is gonna kill me. It was like written by fucking the dude Shane Black. Last Boy Scout.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's got a real like heavy amount of tension in it, because what you're trying to do is make sure that you are securing every piece of evidence, every perp, every hostage along the way, and at the same time it's a like two bullet kill game, and yeah, like it can be real difficult to actually cover a room successfully, like to take down a room successfully. Some of the rooms are fucking huge, and they've got like a number of people in them, and you've got to really pick your targets carefully, because not all the targets are good or bad or whatever. So yeah, it's complicated. From that perspective, I would love like a bit of a recon phase, even if it just told you, something basic like how many people you should expect. You don't get I haven't seen any kind of information like that, but because it has that SWAT feeling, and because it has that that almost Rainbow Six vibe, I would love that, and then an action phase. I think the action phase is obviously extremely important, but I don't feel like you'd necessarily just bust into... I guess SWAT 4 didn't have a recon phase, and you just sort of had to go in, but they did give you estimates. They had that briefing at the start of every level where they'd tell you what you could expect, oh, they've got hostages, oh, there's this many.
Didn't Payday do that?
Did they?
Well, I guess Payday had it in there in terms of like there was an actual gameplay aspect of you like scoping the place out.
Oh yeah, like yeah. But yeah, like it's really cool. I would love to see it go further. I'd love to see them take this police stories thing and go a little bit further. I want a Shield game, a game like the Shield, where if you do commit unauthorized force, right, then you set it up to look like you didn't. Like, you grab a gun and place it on the guy, and you're like, oh, he aimed at me. Something like that, Like, I'd love to see that kind of shit, and maybe, yeah, you have to grab that planted gun and shoot the hostage who witnessed you fucking up, and just have, like, instead of having like a grade, have like a fucking morality bar where you're like either a dirty cop or a good cop, and have challenge people to finish the game as a good cop or a bad cop.
Sure.
Because I think that'd be inherently more interesting than, you know. I do think that's not to take anything away from police stories. I would love to see. It feels like it's driving towards the player character is a bit of a, you know, maverick, loose cannon type, but I just don't think it goes far enough in that vein, and I'd love to see them go further with it. So yeah, otherwise, I enjoyed it. I'm still going through it. It's got a fuck ton of levels. There's a lot of content in it. So, you know, if that's something you measure on, that's definitely got that going for it. It's $21 on Steam. And, there's shit tons of levels. I think it's worth checking out. I'd love to see it in co-op. I'd love to see how it plays in co-op. But yeah. Otherwise, that's about it.
Cool. All right. What do we got next? PUBG is on here.
Oh yeah, I've been playing more PUBG. I just wanted to chuck this one in here. I've been playing with the third person crew. They're playing in first person now, but I just wanted to.
Why?
Because
like what happened?
They've seen the light.
Sick of getting shot from fucking behind trees.
They're all remarking at how it's a completely different game, and it's true. But no, one of the things I noticed is that they're all they're making like good decisions now. I feel like this is entirely my influence, but
slowing things down.
Disengaging in unwinnable fights on the edge of the circle when they've got to get like fucking 15 grid squares to actually get in. They're like, oh, we should go. That used to be literally the most challenging part of playing with them, was trying to convince them to stop fucking fighting with someone and just fucking leave. They're making those decisions now. Maybe it's because it's in first person and it's easier to disengage. Maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. Because in third person, you've got so much more vision, and so you can see when someone's trying to run away. But yeah, we had didn't get a Chicky D, but we had a couple of games where we were second multiple times in a row. We just got sort of circle fucked, a bunch, properly circle fucked. Having to go across a fucking open field to get into the circle, into a team that was well fortified behind a series of fucking rocks on Sandhorn. You just sort of, I can try, but we already used our smokes to get here, so my best option is to, I guess, pray these grenades land at their feet or something. But they'd successfully split up, and so you had to pick them while they're behind cover and you're out in the open and all that kind of shit. Those are. I don't feel bad about not getting the Chicky D. Obviously, I want to get the Chicky D, but I don't feel bad about not getting it in those cases. It's like a huge attitude shift, which I was super happy to notice. Because obviously I want it significantly increases your chances to get a fucking Chicken D if you know when to disengage. Knowing when to disengage is as important as knowing when to actually engage, which is cool. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, I'd spent all that time playing Call of Duty, and it took me 6 games to retrain my fucking recoil. There's no recoil in Call of Duty. There's fucking none at all. None of those.
I mean, there's
guns
recoil, but it's not a lot.
Not at all.
It's
It's fucking insane how manageable it is compared to other games, and I had completely forgotten. And yeah, so I'm like, fucking the first time I fired at full auto. Oh my lord! Like it wasn't even full auto. It was just a fucking. It was a 3-round burst, and the fucking second bullet was fucking at the moon or something. I don't know. Yeah, it was fucking all over the place. I had like a fucking AK without a comp. It was like the first gun I'd picked up, and I was we were hot dropping. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. They've got that, what do they call it? Survivor? Survival something or other. Survival Mastery.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And once
Weapon
you've played
ranks.
10 games... Hey?
Weapon ranks.
No.
Stuff.
Weapon ranks, that's the regular mastery. They added Survival Mastery, which tells you how you play.
Okay.
So it's more about, what you're actually doing as a player than it is your, leveling up your weapons and getting pointless cosmetics. So it tells you how you play, and it's got like 3 categories. And I can't remember what the second one is, but it's like, are you a hot dropper or not? Are you a something or not? And what kind of playstyle do you go for? And I got hot dropper. I'm currently at 82% hot dropper. I don't know how the fuck it registers hot dropping, because I don't feel like I hot drop 82% of the time. I definitely hot drop fairly often, because I want a medium hot drop, right? Like, I don't want a fucking hot drop. I don't muy caliente drop, but I do want...
Let's land at school every game.
Yeah, but I want a bit of spice, because I want to get some fucking shots in, get my fucking eye in before I get to the final circle. But apparently I'm at 81% hot dropping. And I'm pretty sure I know the fucking games that led to me not getting 100%. And they were, at one point after the patch, nobody could fucking, like half of everyone who was playing found themselves auto diving on the spot. They weren't able to float long. They would just dive straight down. And so we'd be like, oh yeah, let's go here. And we like fucking grid square and a half away. And we'd get like halfway there, and I'd look at my mini-map, and like 2 of them motherfuckers on my team are like fucking straight where we dropped them initially. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They're like, I can't stop diving. And I'm like, okay, swing back around. I'd land at some fucking house in the middle of fucking nowhere and go from there. Those drops weren't that bad. Like, as long as you land on your own and are close enough to link up with your team, you can still put some shit together. We got...
Wait, so did they change the way diving works again?
No, I think it was some fucking bug or something. I don't know. I'm not sure what it was, but people just couldn't stop diving, basically.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that sort of fucked my hot drops a little. Otherwise, I'd land at main spots. But yeah, we got a fucking second place, and we were fucking... Oh, that was it. That one hurt. Losing that game hurt. I remember now. It was on fucking Vikendi. But we landed at like a bunch of houses in the middle of nowhere. Worked our way back into the fucking circle. I think I went down like 3 times. Just barely got back up. Went down just prior to the 3rd team dying. And there was no way I was getting back up again. I just bled out so fucking quick. So it's just the 3 of them. It was 3-on-3, and we literally had to go up a hill towards a rock to get the last dudes, and there was 0 cover, and the guys just had no fucking hope. They just had, it was just never gonna happen. Really, they were just sort of fucked, which was a bummer, but what are you gonna do, right? Anyway, so there was that. That's why I don't have 100% hot dropping. My play style, offensive or defense, is offensive. Apparently, I take, I think it's 600 more damage. No, not 600. Can't be 600. 60 more damage on average per game than most players. So I'm getting shot a lot. Didn't mention how much damage I did, but I'm definitely taking a lot of damage.
You're taking.
Yeah, I'm tanking. But yeah, that was interesting. Like, that's an interesting,
Sure.
yeah, addition. Yeah.
I heard that they changed the sound again, and people were very upset about it.
Yeah, but they reverted it back yesterday, so it's fine. Basically they changed the sound to, like, they changed how the footsteps sound, but there were bugs and it wasn't very consistent, and yeah, roughly it was a bad change. So they reverted back to pre 4.3 update sound, and everyone is collectively extremely happy about it.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's about it. That's PUBG.
All right. Should we talk about the other battle royale then?
Do it.
Apex Legends Season 3 started this week. I had a chance to go to an early preview for this last week and check it out, along with about 60 other people I think they had in total.
Yep. Makes sense.
Really only I was kind of the only Australian sort of media person there.
Yeah.
But the rest of them were sort of all over the world, which was exciting. So they basically showed off what they've been working on. They said for the past 18 months, so a long time. You think about it, Apex came out in March, I think it was this year.
Yep.
So this content that they've been working on has been in the pipeline for a while.
Yeah.
To start off with, Crypto is the new legend they've introduced. He's basically got a drone that he runs around with, and he's able to deploy the drone and fly it around in space. Like it's not like something that sits on the actual ground. Like, you can actually fly it around, and it's got a limited range on how far you can actually fly it. But anything that's like out in the world that you can sort of tag will come up. So things like doors and supply bins. So sort of like the same way that you can use your ping system in the world, you can do the same thing with this drone. You can open doors, you can open supply bins, you can mark that there's things in that location. And then the other thing it does is within I think it's a 30 meter radius. Yeah, within a 30 meter radius, anyone that comes into like the drone's peripheral will start being pinged for your player character and also for your teammates, so they'll actually know whereabouts these enemies are. So it's kind of like similar to the way like Bloodhound's old detection used to work, but this is like more consistent. Like, you can see through walls and all that sort of stuff. Like, it's constant. So that's a big thing that drone does. And the other thing it does is, which is connected to his ultimate, is when you build up enough ultimate charge, you can then use the drone to shoot out an EMP blast. And the EMP blast is in a circle radius, and it's a pretty big, decent size. And once that drone has charged up, it takes probably around about 2 to 3 seconds. Once that blast hits, it knocks out 50 damage on someone's shield, and it also slows them down, so they'll get a bit of a sort of like when you were hit by a disruptor grenade, like an arc grenade, that sort of same sort of effect. Like it'll take away some of your shield and it'll slow you down. The other thing it does is it'll actually destroy traps as well. So if you've got like caustic traps laying around, or like Winston's shields, like the pylons, it'll actually blow them up in the area as well. So he's really like multi-purpose. The thing about him is it's like this risk-reward sort of thing, where while you're on this drone, you're sort of open to attacks and you can't really defend yourself. And also, if the fight starts to move away from where you've sort of left yourself, then your other teammates could be like sort of alone. Like all of a sudden a 3v3 fight is now a 3v2 fight because it's slowly gone a different direction and you're still on your drone doing some surveillance or trying to get a good ultimate spot. So he can kind of really... He can change like fights in a really big way, but also if you're not paying attention, you could really screw up your teammates by just not being there or being too far away all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So you've really got to pay attention sort of to what you're doing. But I guess the good thing about it is that it's really easy to jump in and out of the drone. It takes a moment or two for you to get back into it. And while that is happening, obviously you're vulnerable to attacks. Like you can't really fight back. So he's actually a really cool and interesting character. You can kind of use him as a offensive character to go and scout locations. Like, I want to go into this building, throw my drone out, and then go see if anyone's in there. And if that's, if it seems safe, then all right, you tell your team, off we go. And then also, like, defensively, you can stop people from pushing you or use the drone to stop people from getting into the zone, things like that. So we had a game where there was, there was one other team left, and they were outside the zone, and they had to come into the zone, and we knew like where they were, and so we sort of sat up on this hill, and I was on my drone, and as they were running in, I basically flew my drone in, really low to the ground, hid behind like a truck, and then when they ended up pushing, I basically hit my ultimate and then started moving into the center of those guys, let my ultimate go off, and then jumped off the drone and then started helping my teammates. Like, that's like a sort of way that you can sort of use his abilities to a really good effect. And there's other times where you can just really fuck it up, and all of a sudden, like, your two teammates are getting stuck in a fight, and you're on a drone that's not really doing anything. It's kind of just pinging where people are, but that's not really handy because it's an open fight. Like, you've really got to pick a good time to use a drone, and it can be really like swing the fight in your favor, or it can just really screw you up. So he's a really interesting character to play with, and actually a lot of fun as well. It changes sort of the way that you can, I guess, like your offensive capabilities of the game. Bloodhound was one of those characters where you could really use him to track players, and this is sort of in the similar vein where you can find other players and be like, oh, there's people in here, let's go get them. Whereas traditionally you can't really do that unless you see somebody around out in the open. So yeah, he's actually a really fun character to play. I don't know if he'll be nerfed as such. I feel like maybe there's a possibility they may change the way that his sort of ping system works, but otherwise he feels pretty balanced. His drone can be destroyed, and it can be destroyed pretty quickly. I think it's like 1 or 2 hits and it just blows up. Once the drone is destroyed, I think it's a 40-second cooldown for it to come back. It's somewhere around there. It takes a while for it to come back. We were playing on an earlier build, so things could have changed a little bit between when what we were playing and what was released. But you can definitely destroy the drone. It is like, it's not hard to see. It's like a glowing like red drone if it's an enemy, and if it's green then it's your teammates, so it's kind of easy to distinguish. We did a bit of testing with the drone. There's some cool things you can do. You can actually pick up players' beacons with the drone.
So like they're down.
Yeah, where they're downed. You can use the
up,
drone to go pick up all your friends' beacons.
Right.
You can go outside the zone, but I think depending on which zone it is, it'll take tick damage, but depending on what level zone it is, the more tick damage it'll take. Towards the end of the game, it doesn't last long, like half a second. But earlier on, I think you're able to pick up beacons outside the zone, which is handy, a little thing that you can do. So yeah, that's basically crypto. They showed off this trailer. They opened up this event with a trailer, and it's probably one of the best trailers I've seen this year. The trailer was really fucking cool. Yeah. They actually had 2 trailers. One was a sort of like World Lore trailer that they did, which wasn't in game, but they've been doing these really stylish trailers that they've been putting out. This one was awesome. I thought it was really good. Like if they were to put out like this as a movie or something like that, then yeah, it's got some really cool style to it. And then they also showed off the second trailer, which is like the gameplay trailer. And then again, they like completely knocked it out of the park. Like there was so many cool things going on in that trailer. So I guess one of the big things that they've revealed is a new map. That was a massive surprise to me at this event.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody expected them to come out and be like, "We got a new map."
Right.
So the new map is called World's Edge and not World's End. I did write that once or twice while I was working.
Oh.
So thank you to Edgar Wright for that one. But World's Edge it's a lot bigger than Kings Canyon, the original map. A lot more wide open and some different types of biomes in there. So it's kind of split up into the top half being more like snow, ice, and then the bottom half a bit of like lava, mainly lava. Whereas the top, sort of like the northwest side, is a bit more, there's some green grassy areas, but there's definitely like different styles of biomes in there. Whereas Kings Canyon was kind of the same for the most part. Like you'd have your industrial building area, and then like your grass and a bit of desert, but for the most part it looked pretty samey.
Yeah.
So this one, huge open spaces, a lot of cool areas. They've got a train that actually moves around the map. So there's tracks laid out which go to most of the major locations, most of the named locations on the map. And there's like 2 or 3 that it doesn't go into, but for the most part it goes really close to it. And the actual tracks aren't like it's not like a circle that goes around the map. Like it interweaves amongst some of the locations. Sometimes the tracks will go off in a different direction. Like there's not just one track or one set of tracks. Like it splits off and goes to different directions. And the train basically seems to, they didn't say this, but it seems to replace the supply drop ships that were in Kings Canyon. Right. That would show up at the start of the game or during the game and kind of land at a certain area, and the supply ships would have a bunch of loot on them. Whereas this train will go around the map. It's already got loot and supply bins on it, but also when it gets to a station or a stop, it stops there for a little while, and then these supply bins sort of come out from below the ground, and then you can go and loot them. So in order to get those supply bins, you've actually got to be at the train, or it's not like they're always there. It's just whenever
do they go away after a while?
I'm not sure if I don't think they leave. Like okay. They don't go back into the ground. But I think once the train is stopped, that's when they actually rise up from underneath the platform of the station, or wherever they're stopping. Right. I've got a really cool video from when we were playing where we tried to land on the train. It was like our 3rd game in or something like that. Yeah. And the train is going towards this tunnel, because there's a bunch of tunnels in the map. And we're like, oh, we're not going to make this at all. And so our jump master sort of veers off and goes towards this other area that's kind of near this cave. And as we land, I'm like, oh, there's a zip line up there. And I'm like, I can definitely make that. So I start running for the zip line. I jump on the zip line, and as I'm like on the zip line, the train is like moving past in front of me, and like on the tracks above, on top of this mountain.
Perfectly timed.
Yeah, and like as the train goes past, I land on it, and it's literally something you would see in a trailer, like a video game trailer. Yeah. And I'm doing it in my 3rd game playing this, and I recorded that. It was just like a really sick moment that, like a Battlefield moment, but for Apex.
Yeah.
It's a really cool thing. And then so we ended up, my teammates did the same thing, but we all jumped on the train, and then like we had a fight on the train. Like another team ended up being at the station that was coming up, and then they jumped on the train, and we had a fight, and then the train left, and people were like getting downed, and then they would kind of just crawl off the train out as it was moving, and like really cool little engagements that you could have on there,
Nice.
and really fun little things. But yeah, it really changes up the dynamic of having this moving thing that you can kind of ride around the environment.
Can you get hit by the train?
I would think so. I didn't try it.
Right.
Because I was there to play the game and fucking win. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
there to test stuff.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So what else do they show? New map, new weapon, the charge rifle. It's basically like a mix between the Quake lightning gun and the rail gun. Charge rifle was in Titanfall, but this one works a little bit differently. The way it sort of fires fires its energy beam. It's basically listed in the sniper rifle category. It uses energy ammo. At its default sort of stock form, it has four rounds in its chamber, and you charge up the weapon, and as you're charging it up, it shoots a beam out from the gun, and anything that's hitting that beam starts taking damage, sort of like a lightning gun, right? And you can like move the cursor around, and the beam will follow with you. And then once the gun has fully charged up, it'll shoot out its rail part of it, like its full charged bolt, and do a bunch of damage to whoever is in that way. So at max, it looks like it can do up to plus 75 damage in one hit, if you're able to get that full shot on them without them moving. So it can be a really effective sniper rifle. Might get nerfed, might not. It's kind of hard to say. They might drop the damage down a little bit, but at its at its 4 rounds per sort of chamber that it's got, it takes a while to reload, and you've really got to hit those shots. But if you do hit them, you can shred armor so quickly. It's a beast of a weapon right now. It's not a crate drop weapon. You just kind of find it out in the open. So if you can get those energy ammo add-ons on the gun to really get you some more shots out of it, it really does a lot of damage. And if you're a good shot, it's really devastating. So I wouldn't be surprised if they tone it down a little bit in terms of its damage, because it's when you get hit by one of those things, you know you've been hit. You're like, okay, fair enough. It's like nearly half your health is basically gone. 75 damage is your armor gone. So 2 of those and you're really hurting.
Yep.
So the charge rifle, really good fun. They showed off. They talked about new battle pass, which is out now. They talked about like the lessons they learned from last seasons and what they've the changes they made. New events which will be coming. It sounds like they're going to try and consistently do like maybe theme types of events. And one of the ones they teased was Halloween. So that'll be starting, I would say, pretty soon. This month sometime, considering Halloween is the end of the month. Don't know what that is going to entail. They didn't really talk about it much. I think some people have been doing a bit of diving into some of the code that's already in the game, and it seems like it's not necessarily like a themed, like they're gonna put pumpkins and shit everywhere. Like it'll be a different type of game mode. So that should be really interesting.
I read a leak on what it's going to be, and it's going to be like a semi-zombie mode. Every time you die, you join the dark team, and the dark team is all on the same team. And once there's only 10 people left, they fight together. They join as one team and fight together to try to escape.
That sounds really cool.
Fucking rad.
Yeah. What else have I got here? Ranked Series 2. So they actually put up a blog post before I went to this event about some of the changes they're making to Ranked. And I had the opportunity to talk to the lead designer, or the senior designer in Ranked mode. He looks after Ranked mode. And I also got the chance to talk to Drew McCoy, who's the lead director on the project. And so basically what they're going to be doing is they've changed sort of the scoring system format. Now it's a score out of 100 points for a placement. So they've really like stretched that out. And the reasoning behind that is they want to be able to give players more points for doing certain things within the game. So one of the things they've added in there is now points for assists. So last season there wasn't an assist count. It was basically whoever got the kill, then they got the points. Whereas now, is if you assist in doing like enough damage to another enemy, and then someone else comes in and takes like the last kill on them, or the last minute amount of damage and kills them, at least you're still going to get something out of that, which is really good. And so they're looking at those sort of modifiers to put into the game and really give players, or sort of rank players a bit more differently, as opposed to just being like, well, how many kills did you get? How many placement points we'll give you, and then we'll figure it out from there. The other thing that they're doing is they changed the way kills work. There's now a multiplier. So before the level cap was, or the kill cap was 5, so you'd get the maximum of 5 kills per game. But now they've actually broken that down, and so the less people, or the less people in the game, and the more kills you get, the multiplier adds to that. So, for instance, I don't actually have the reference up on here, but at the start of the game you might get 1 point per kill, but later on, if you make it to the top 10, it might be 3 points per kill, or if you're in the top 3, then it's 5 points per kill. That's kind of how they're doing it. They basically, because I talked to them about the scoring system for last season, and we talked about it a lot when we played it, and didn't really like the way they were doing it per se. Mainly because it incentivized positional gameplay, Joab.
Yes, positional gameplay,
as opposed to going for kills in a battle royale game, like a lot of people rank tanking. And I brought it up with them because one of the statements they made in their blog was that they found that players weren't hitting that kill cap of 5. So I asked them, like, you're making this statement, but at the same time, you're kind of encouraging players not to go for kills. So, like, do you agree that that's like a fair estimate on that? And yeah, they actually said yes. They think that that's a fair way to look at it, that they've incentivized people to go for placement as opposed to kills, and therefore people may not think that it's worthwhile going for those kills. So what they're trying to do with this season is, by putting things like assists and kill multipliers in there and stretching those the amount of points you can get in there, that'll hopefully allow people to actually decide to engage into fights, because they'll be rewarded more for doing so. Don't know how that'll play out. As I was talking to them, they said that they'll probably look at the data. They would prefer to run it for a whole season and then go in and then make tweaks to it next season if they need to. They don't really want to go in and make drastic changes to the scoring system if something's if it's, unless it's like seriously broken. He said he doesn't want to go in and make super big changes, so they would rather see
I'd argue that it is a lot of super broken. I still think it's I still think they're in the wrong place. They haven't. I think they've made steps in the right direction, but they need to make way bigger changes. Emphasizing later kills doesn't help the initial issues that they had, right? It doesn't rectify the initial problems that the system had, which is that it heavily incentivizes rank tanking, right? That's the entire problem with ranked, is that it directly incentivizes players to rank tank, right? Doesn't it? Yes?
Well, it was. It's less now. It's a lot less. I've been playing a bunch of ranked, and you get a ton of points for kills now.
But you get a ton of points for kills later, right? You get a ton of points more for kills later, right? But what you want is consistent points for kills.
Right, yeah. Right? Well, if you're getting kills and you get to in a top 5 situation, you're getting more points for those kills.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, right, is that you should be like that incentivizes you to stay alive for longer. You don't want to piss away the kills you get points for until later. Know what
I
I'm saying?
think it's not working that way. I think it's working in terms of depending on how many points kills you've got and the later in the match you get. Like it multiplies those points depending on where you place.
Oh, okay. So the kills aren't relative to when you get them; they're more relative to your placement in general.
Yeah, I think that's how it's working.
And there's still a 5 kill cap, right?
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah, then
because otherwise you end up in situations where people are just literally hot dropping the entire time and getting kills, and then quickly dying and then going back into the main game again. Like, just because what's going on is at some of those earlier levels you don't have to pay for getting into games. Like,
yeah, so that's fine, but they'll never get above gold doing that.
Yeah, that's cool, but then like it'll eventually trickle out. Like, I play with games because I was somewhere in gold, gold 2 or gold 1, I can't remember. Yeah, and like the quality of games are completely different to what I play in casual. Like, the people aren't camping in gold. It's just not, you're not getting anywhere. You're just camping. You're not making any progress at all. You can try and make progress. It'll take you fucking ever to try and get anywhere.
How? Why?
It's
why
way
would
too
you not?
slow.
Why would that be too slow? Like,
Because
how does
you're
it
getting-
rectify those situations that we had last season where there were fucking 20 cunts alive in the second last circle?
I don't know. I don't. Like, I didn't play a super lot with you guys in ranked.
Yeah, but like the few games that we played together, yeah, because it didn't make any sense for you
Because
to play
we were
with
playing
me,
in bronze
'cause I
or
was in
whatever it
fucking,
was.
I was in bronze and you were in fucking gold. But like when I was fucking ELO helling my way out of fucking bronze, you'd have constant games, or in silver too. Like, you had constant games where there were a shit ton of fucking teams left alive in the fucking second last circle because they were just waiting it out, right? Because there was no reason to continue to go for kills once you'd reached a certain point. The five kill limit literally disincentivizes you from going for kills, because like the difference between 4th place and 3rd place is 3 kills. So you're better off not shooting your gun, not doing anything at all, than risking it and risking placing 4th instead of 3rd. Once you've got enough kills, there's literally no reason for you to go for it. Right? It's worth an entire squad wipe to go from 4th to 3rd. There's no reason to do it then.
I mean,
right?
but if you're playing in a set team, that's still 15 kills, and on top of that, assists and like trying to get higher placement. Like, it's a lot of kills.
It's. I'm not saying it's not a lot of kills. What I'm saying is that the fact is, right, you are not incentivized to go for more kills after a certain point. And yes, assists definitely helps, right? Because there was a point, there was a position where, you know, certain people would get the finish, and it would be literally a wasted kill. But it doesn't matter. The problem overall with ranked is that it bears no resemblance whatsoever with a regular Apex game, right? Which means that when you get, like, ranked is either not an appropriate path to pro, right? Path to pro concept from casual, because it bears no resemblance to regular casual play, or it's not appropriate path to pro experience for competitive, because it doesn't bear enough resemblance to what competitive players do.
Sure.
Right, so your options are, right, either competitive is playing the extremely dull, slow play that I was seeing a shit ton of in ranked, which is not great, and it is what I saw a lot of at the Invitational. I didn't like, it wasn't as slow as what I was seeing in ranks, but obviously they're better players, and obviously they're better at engaging, so that makes sense, right? But it is a duller version of Apex, right? What you need to do is incentivize players to go for kills at all times, because they need a heavy incentive to always go for kills. As soon as they're no longer incentivized to go for kills, that's it. Like they're not gonna do it anymore, because at the end of the day, the maths works out that they're better off rank tanking, right? As soon as rank tanking is mathematically superior, a mathematically superior option, they will rank tank, because why wouldn't you? Like, that's how progression works. So that is a direct incentive, right? That is a gameplay incentive for players to not chase kills. And by having a 5 kill limit, the incentive continues. There is still a huge incentive to avoid fights as much as possible. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I agree. Getting 5 kills.
Yeah.
And if you hit the kill max on the game, that's basically the same as coming first.
Have they changed what points are worth?
Yeah.
I thought it was just assists. I thought that was...
So if you come first and you've got maximum of 5 points, you get 25 points per kill, which ends up being 100 points. First place is 100 points.
Hang on, say that again.
First place in ranked is 100 points, but if you hit the kill limit, that's 100 points as well. Whereas if you just rank tank the entire time, it's way slower to progress, and you've still got to get through all those players.
I thought those points changed. Yeah, you still have to get fucking... You still have to make it a third place to get the 100 points for those 5 kills.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But if you get those 5 points, as opposed to just rank tanking to 4th, you're only getting 40 points as opposed to 100. They have incentivized kills.
If you get 5 kills, and you make it to 4th, right, you don't get 100 points, you get, 75 points, right?
Okay, now I'm confused. Oh yeah, it's 15 points in 4th. So it's...
Yeah. So, bear with me, right?
Still nearly double the points that you get for rank placement.
But, right, stay with me, right? There's no difference between coming 4th or 3rd in terms of ranking points. The only difference is in terms of your kill multiplier, right? So your decision then, right, if you're on 4 kills, right, your decision there is, do I go for 1 more kill? I'm on 4 kills, and there's 4 teams left. I can see a team in front of me, right? My choice is, do I go for the kill, right? I get 1 kill, right? Only 1 kill matters to me, right? I get the 1 kill, but that we get team wipes, right? We get third-partied before the end of the fights, and we come 4th. That kill is now worth... it was only worth... it became worth just 75 points, right? It became worth just 15 points to me, right? It was only worth 15 points. Or do I not engage, right? And the team that third-partied, right, they engage instead, and we third-party them, right? Suddenly, that kill, right, I'm rank tanking, I'm choosing not to engage, I'm waiting for the opportunity to come 3rd. That kill becomes worth 20 points, so now I've got 100 points worth of first point placing, and I have the opportunity to push further and make my way into 2nd, where suddenly the amount of points I get is drastically increased.
It's not a huge amount of points, though. It's a very slight amount. It's worthwhile going for kills as opposed to placement. You've got a better chance of winning.
Only after a certain point. Only after 5th, right? What I'm saying is...
How many times do you say, whenever we go into a game, Like,
Yeah.
if we rank tank and we get to the end, you're like, oh, it's because I didn't warm up or we didn't get any new fights. Like, if you're on a roll, you going into the end game with more gear because you've been killing more people is a lot more worth it than opposed to just rocking up at the end and being like, oh, okay, we can just kind of stumble our way in here.
I'm like someone who's at 4 kills and 4th place has not been fucking about. They've been getting into fights, right? That's what I'm saying, right? That's like rank tanking in that situation, right? Is literally is not for people who haven't been getting into fights. It's not for full blown campers. I'm talking about the Apex version of camping is still getting into fights and then hiding because, like, the difference between if there's 6 teams left, right? You take my second last circle, 20 players still alive, right? Second last circle, 20 players still alive means 7 teams at least. 7 teams at least means there is a significant difference between the next 4 team losses, right? The next 4 teams to disappear is a dramatic increase in what every single kill is worth. So if you hot dropped at Skulltown, I don't know the fucking names of the new map. So if you hot dropped at Skulltown,
Lava City.
Hey?
Lava City.
If you hot drop at Lava City and you got a bunch of kills, you got up to your 4, there's 7 teams left, 20 players, right? Your direct incentive, shit, if you made your 5 kills at Lava City, right? There is zero reason for you to take a fight. There is 0 reason for you to take a fight until you absolutely have to. And that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, I'm not talking about, like, hiding the entire game from day dot, landing in the middle of fucking nowhere, and putting together a fucking gear out of fucking shoestrings and buttons. I'm talking about players who are actively engaging reach a upper limit of when they should continue to engage. They reach a point where there is 0 incentive for them to do anything anymore, right? If you've got 4 or 5 kills, there's 20 players left, the circle is fucking smaller than my fucking scrotum, there's no reason for you to take any fights. It's over, right? Your game is over, and your only incentive is to hide, is to make highest on the table as high on the table as possible, because any other option, taking any fight at all, is a worse strategy for you. You are directly hampering your ability to get more points, right? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, absolutely. It's a better system. It's definitely a better system. It's still not good enough for directly incentivizing, like, constant play that resembles what Apex casual looks like, in my opinion.
Yeah. But I don't think they can. I think that level cap or that kill cap can't be raised much further. It's only got to be like maybe 8 at maximum.
I don't see why it needs to.
Because that's 24 players between an entire team.
If your team can get 24 kills, if your team can get 30 fucking kills, there is 0 reason. Like, it's a ranking system, right? You should get all those fucking points. You should be fucking in a different rank, basically, right? That's how ranking systems work. There's no reason why it should be limited. It's limited only to slow people from ranking, to increase the grind, right? There's, like, if you start a bronze game and then you walk away with 30 fucking kills as a team, you shouldn't be bronze, right? And if you get 30 points, 30 kills, and the fucking Chicky D, right? You should basically automatically jump to gold, because you are clearly above the rank that you're currently at. There's, holy shit, right? How could it be any different? Which is the other problem I have with this fucking kill cap, is that it's literally there just to limit the amount of fucking growth players can have. It's literally there just to slow down the progression system, because it is a progression system. It's not a true skill-based ranking system, right? Like, I know that they're trying to incentivize it more. That's what they said in the rank league, but it's that's not what's happening. Yeah, they absolutely need to. Yeah, like as it stands now, it's a ladder system. It's like not a ladder. It's a path. It's a progression. It's a leveling system. It's not fucking actual ranked.
Yeah, and I think that's where they're going to get to. Is they'll get to a point where every player's got their own rank number or ELO, and then they look at who's in the game. They work out your probability of winning that game, and then base the points on that. Like that's probably where they're ultimately going to get to, or that's where I'd like to see them get to. Like if your probability of winning that game is, for instance, if we dragged you into a gold match and you're in bronze, your probability of winning that game should be lower. But if you're getting kills and that sort of thing, then you should be getting more points, right?
Yeah, that drove me fucking nuts in the last ranked. Because I was getting, like, you and Kleb were both gold, and I hadn't been playing, so I was starting off in bronze, and we were getting fucking wins and shit, and I was getting a bunch of kills, and it did nothing for me. It literally did nothing for me. I still had to fucking drag my own fucking ass out of fucking bronze, because I didn't get a bonus to the amount of fucking points I got for killing a bunch of gold cunts. All I did was the same shit as normal. I just got the same fucking garbage as I already got. Yeah, they absolutely didn't do anything like that. There was no fucking, like, balancing in that situation. It was shit.
Yeah. But they've talked about they're changing that sort of stuff. It's coming. It's not in this season, but they're working on it. Like they've seen situations where, is Platinum the highest? No, Predator. Predator's the highest. Like Predator and Diamond and Platinum players sort of being matched with each other just because of the player pool or things like that. So like they're trying to fix that stuff, but it probably is going to be a while.
Yep.
But anyway, like I like the changes they've made to this season. They've got to, by sort of expanding the amount of points that you can get now, has really opened that up. And also the assist thing is huge. Like now, like there's a reason to fucking shoot people. Whereas before it's just like not even worth it. Yeah. Some of the quality of life stuff they talked about was changing the way like if you disconnect from a game, things like that. They're going to be what did I write down? Basically, I think the way they're going to be doing it is it'll be like a stack. So the first time you do it, you'll get like a 5-minute timeout, but each time you do it after that, it'll keep stacking. Pretty sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that shit up. I can't see where I wrote it, but oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, starts at 5 minutes and increases. Yeah, they did talk about that, which is cool. That's something that like Dota was doing as well for people that would jump into games and like, I didn't get the hero that I was wanting to play as, or something like that, or they didn't get the lane they wanted, so they would just quit and then go back to the main menu and start matchmaking again. And what they ended up implementing was like, all right, you can't do that anymore. We'll put a 5-minute ban on your sort of wait time. And then if you did it again, like now it was 20 minutes. And then eventually like it had just increased to, you can't do it, all right, anymore. So
I did see a video on the subreddit today of some dude who got the penalty for leaving a game when the game had matched him with nobody else.
Oh, right.
Which is a bit of a bummer.
Why didn't he win then?
Right, let's just go in, champ.
Yeah, easy 100 points. The other thing they put in there, which I had happen the other day, was loss forgiveness. And this seems to be sort of rewarding, or like if you jump into a game and something's wrong, whether it's like something with the server, there's a problem, or something happened with your team, people dropping out or whatnot, it means that if you get knocked out really early, you don't end up losing the rank points that it cost you to get into the match. So say you jump into bronze and it cost you, I don't know what bronze is it 20 points or something stupid? No, it's free. Bronze is free. Let's say you jump into silver. Silver costs you 12 points to play, and you have this problem. Then you're not losing anything. So it's looking at.
Although just as in the case of the guy who got penalised for leaving a game where it hadn't matched him with anyone, I had a couple of ranked games when I hit silver where we didn't get matched. Well, I only got matched with one other person, and it didn't forgive me for that loss. One of us would have had to lose. One of us would have had to leave to actually trigger the loss forgiveness.
Just abandon it. Just leave it. Leave your computer on forever.
Just AFK it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it's working, but it's not flawless.
Yeah. What else did we talk about? Was there anything else in my interviews that worth mentioning? I don't have it open, so I'm not. I'm not sure. They basically talked about how they want ranked to be sort of like the stepping stone into esports tournaments, and they're not really too focused on esports tournaments at the moment. But yeah, it's something they're planning on, or they want it to do, but it's nowhere near there yet. What did you say while I was talking?
Path to pro.
Path to pro. Yeah. They talked about basically the way that they're handling multiple maps. I guess at the moment, Kings Canyon is not playable. The original map. What they want to do is have World's Edge be the only thing that you can play in ranked and casual, and eventually reintroduce Kings Canyon. The way that it sounds like they want to do it is it'll be a random selection, possibly. They're not 100% sure. They want to look at feedback depending on the community as well. They talked about obviously by having these things in there, like the lever penalties, if you were to get a map that you didn't like, for instance, in ranked, then you'll be penalized for it. Like, you end up losing points, you end up not being able to play, so at the end of the day, it's not even worth leaving. But in terms of casual, don't really know how they're going to handle that. They're still thinking about it. They got multiple ways to try and approach that, but they're not 100% sure.
Right.
They're definitely aware of PUBG and the way PUBG handled theirs multiple maps, and it sounds like they don't want to go down that route. I was talking to them about how about
with me rage quitting every time we get fucking selected on Sandhawk.
Yeah, well, they talked about how PUBG now has PUBG's got 30 different queues, and they don't want that. They said that when they introduced those little event modes that they had, you can play with shotguns or sniper rifles, they can see the differences in the amount that their player pools are dropping in certain games because of that, and they just can't imagine what they're going to do if they start splitting queues even more. So they're completely aware about it. And the other thing they told me is that they look at Australia in particular and try and figure out if they put something in the game and it's not going to work in Australia, then they're not interested in putting it in the game. Australia is kind of their test case scenario of, will this work at, I think the quote was will this work at Australia on PC at 2 o'clock in the morning?
No.
And if it doesn't, then then it's not worth them putting it in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely want to focus on making sure this stuff works. And I don't know about you, but I played a lot of Apex at night in particular.
I know you did.
I never had any issues getting games or anything like that. So it's working so far. We'll see what kind of happens when they fire up Kings Canyon again, and how people react to it. In terms of the map, it's really wide open. They really want to incentivize long-range gunfights now. And the way we've seen that is a big buff to sniper rifles in particular, and a nerf to SMGs. I think we talked about this last week, or quite recently, that they were doing this. And this map, it's really wide open. A lot of long sort of you can see out really far in the distance and be I'm standing here. People can definitely see where I'm coming from. And I feel like this map in particular has been designed for some sort of event or events that are like they're planning on doing stuff with it. Because Kings Canyon felt very, it was definitely had its open areas, but it still felt very like claustrophobic and tight in certain regions. Like a lot of walls that were up and like giant mountains in the way. Whereas this one is just huge open areas, and it seems like they're maybe planning on something. Obviously, they've been doing it with the other maps, like big giant changes, fucking huge dinosaur-looking things that were walking around and stomping through areas. But this feels completely different, and it feels like they've designed it to do something really big. Like whether or not that is putting Titans, like some sort of Titan mode in the game, I don't know. But that was kind of like the vibe that I was getting from it. Like
Really?
Like huge areas. And why would you need these huge areas? If the game doesn't go down the route of being long-range fights with assault rifles and that sort of thing, then I don't know why these huge areas are around for. So I could be wrong. I could be looking into it the wrong way, but that's kind of the way that I felt going into it. I think they're going to be tweaking some of the loot bins. I feel like there's not enough in a lot of the areas. Kings Canyon had that problem at the start, and eventually they added a lot more loot, and I think it's in a pretty good spot for the most part.
Yeah.
Whereas this is, it could be just a point of not knowing like where the loot is at the moment, but just landing at locations and being like, it feels like there's nothing here. Like there's 2 bins around this corner, and there should be at least 5, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I think they'll probably add a couple more bins to some of those areas, which will be really good. Disruptor rounds have been completely removed. So disruptor rounds were the ones that would cause a lot of shield damage to you. When they first came out, they were super OP. I would just run around with them the entire time. And then once the shields were dead, it wouldn't matter anyway. Whatever you're shooting was basically in trouble. They ended up nerfing it a couple times, and they're at the point now where they've just flat out removed it. So good change. Skull Piercer hop-up was also removed. This is the one that went on the Wingman and the Longbow DMR.
Yeah.
And it done a bunch of damage for headshots, so that's completely gone. They've replaced them with... did I write them down? Can't remember. They replaced
them... the ARs, right? The carbine and the flatline?
Yeah. So they've replaced them. The way that one works is the G7 Scout and the auto shotgun for double tap. So it fires 2 really quick shots. And it's pretty good on like a shotgun. I've not really tried it on the sniper rifle, but it'd be interesting to use. But on the shotgun, like, you can do a lot of damage really quickly. I wouldn't use it as a like running around like as my normal gun. That would be the thing I used to open up with, and I'd quickly switch to like an SMG or something, because it seems to take a lot more time for it to reload that next shot. It's not like you're pressing shoot and then you can just keep mashing the button. There seems to be a bit of a weight on there, so it's a nice way to open up a fight, but otherwise I don't think I'd use it the entire fight. It seemed a bit weird. The anvil is the one I think you were talking about, and that increases your like assault rifle damage, but it slows down the rate of fire on the gun. So, again, you got to try and weigh up your options, but yeah, they're trying new things at least, which is cool. Gibraltar got buffed, Bloodhound got buffed, someone else got buffed. They didn't have they didn't give us patch notes. They kind of just said they'll be out in a couple of days, and you can kind of get a feel for them. Gibraltar got buffed by his ultimate, like, does a ton of damage now, like a lot more damage.
Oh, yeah?
I'd probably choose him over what's her name? Bangalore now. Bangalore's ult takes a lot of time to sort of trigger, whereas his is really quick now, and he can throw it a lot further. It's crazy. So I really like what the changes made to Gibraltar. Yeah, and the obvious nerfs are Pathfinder and Wraith, the 2 probably most popular characters in the game. They slowed down the zip lines for Pathfinder a little bit, Sounds like the community is pretty happy with it. It's not a huge nerf. It's not super noticeable. And then they nerfed Wraith a little bit as well, which is probably one of probably the most popular character in the game. Yep. The map has a locked door in it that is not opened at the moment, and behind the locked door is a bunch of high-level gear. I was trying to count it, and I think I counted about 10 items in that room, ranging from golds and purples, from shields, hop-ups, I don't think there was a couple of attachments, but I couldn't see any weapons or anything in there. It was kind of just like your normal golds and purples that were going on. The door has a countdown on it, and at the time that we were playing it was 2 weeks from when we were playing. I haven't been in there since the launch to see if it's changed. So if we're to judge that countdown, it'll be sometime next week that'll trigger. And it seems like to open it, you'll need some sort of key. And from the teaser video that they dropped, the key is probably going to drop from these little supply drones that fly around the map now. So that was another thing they've added in, is these drones that fly around. You're no longer getting supply drops, random supply drops in the world. These drones will zip around to different areas. They're carrying this like little orb bin thing, and they change colors. And depending on what color the orb is when you destroy it, will depend on what type of gear you get, like tiered loot. So it could be, I think it switches between 3 colors: purple, blue, and gold. So yeah, it's another risk reward thing. Like if you're hearing shots towards an area, there's someone nearby. You can see people shooting drones. You can go chase them and whatnot. So it's a cool little change that they put in there, which is a lot of fun. What else is there? They've added extra voice lines, which one of them is really cool. The one that's really cool is that you now are notified when you're being third party. Which is awesome. Yeah. So if you're in a fight with a team, and then another team rolls up and starts shooting you, your character's voice line will tell you that you're being third party, and so then you can make a decision whether or not you want to disengage. So again, like more ways of displaying information like really quickly. They had the whole ping system in there and that sort of stuff, but it's like another layer of just giving you more information that's super handy for the player to dissect extremely quickly, which I really enjoy. But I think that's probably about it in terms of all the things I wrote down. But yeah, we played pretty well. I was teamed up with GameSpot and a streamer. We won our second game. The first game was a bit rough. Like I got in there and some of my buttons that were bound weren't bound properly. But eventually I got that all sorted out, and by the second game we won that game, and then I think the next 2 or 3 games we came like second or something like that. But all up throughout the event, we had a couple wins. We got there. We played pretty well.
Nice.
They had PCs, but also you could play them on controller. So I was talking to some of the guys that were playing on controller and asking them like how they were going, because some of them were winning games pretty convincingly, and they said that they could definitely notice a difference when they were coming up against a PC team, because it was a lot harder, and they felt like they just didn't have a chance. So something to maybe keep in mind for when they start looking at crossplay, if they go in that direction. But some of these guys, like it definitely was taking me on PC time to get used to it. Like I'm not playing there with my own computer. It's not my own sensitivity, mouse, keyboard, that sort of thing. Whereas if you jump in with a controller, it's basically, pretty close to the same, unless you've changed sensitivity settings and whatnot. So yeah, it seems like if you're a good enough player, you'll be able to go up against PC players, and eventually that stuff will funnel through in terms of ranking and whatnot. Like there's no reason why a really good player shouldn't be able to hold their own on console against and maybe an average or below average PC person if the matchmaking works out to be really good. So I mean, I would like to see them implement some more crossplay stuff, but I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe that's something we'll talk about later. But otherwise, yeah, I really dug it. Like, so many changes. They, as I said, they said that they've been working on this for 18 months, this update, or this map in particular, which is a huge amount of time. It feels like their biggest update they've done yet. Like, a huge amount of changes in there. Feels really good. A lot of new buildings on the map. Giant, like, skyscraper buildings that are multiple floors up in the air that you can get to the roof. Just some really cool areas that you can kind of explore and go around. And if they sort of talked about treating this as a games as a service type situation where they want to do constant updates and that sort of stuff. So with these events that they're planning on doing, it's going to be really cool to see where that sort of unfolds and what happens further down in the year. So yeah, man, I'm keen. I liked it so much. I had so much fun playing. I've been playing the last couple of days just on ranked and casual games, just jumping in there and with randoms and having fun. It's been really good. I dug it quite a bit.
Nice.
Yep. Any questions?
No. No. Yeah. I was jealous that you got to go play it. I haven't played it yet. Probably going to check it out today at some point, probably during lunch or whatever. But yeah, it looks really good. I've seen a couple of complaints about the sightlines being too long.
Yeah, they're huge. Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully they can do something about that, I guess.
No,
yeah.
I think they want that. They want assault rifles to be in play, and because at the moment it's like Kings Canyon was very close range. It's SMGs and shotguns and that sort of stuff. They want to try and spread it out a little bit more, which I'm cool with. I want to see. I like using the sniper rifles in the game. They're a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I've never really gone for them, but yeah.
Yeah. But they had like pros at the event, and it was tough to get some of those wins. My goodness, people were sweaty. People were definitely sweaty. Not as sweaty as when we played Call of Duty media events, but they had like guys from TSM there and that sort of stuff. So
cool.
There was definitely pros walking around. Yeah, a lot of fun. There's a train. I said that right. There's a freaking train. So cool. So cool. But if you haven't seen it, go watch the two Apex trailers. I honestly think it's two of the best trailers for video games released this year. Yeah, they're outstanding. It's really cool.
Nice.
Apex Legends Season 3 out now.
Tight. Alright. Speaking of games that are out right now.
Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Have you played any of this yet?
Nope.
No.
Because I've been sick.
Been sick.
Yeah.
So I did the multiplayer preview event in Paris ages back.
Yep.
So I hadn't actually seen any of the main campaign stuff at all. When they did the first reveal, I was so confused. When we've talked about it, I was really confused about what this game was. It felt like a weird mix between Wildlands and something else. Like, it didn't feel like a Wildlands sequel.
No.
And then we had a bunch of people playing the betas throughout the year as well. And the most recent beta was within the last couple of weeks, and it sounded pretty buggy, like really broken. Everyone was saying how bad it was.
Yep.
I've put in about 8 or 9 hours so far, and I've not seen any issues at all. So I don't know what was going on there. It was possible it was an old build and they were just doing tests with network stuff or something like that, or maybe I'm just not up to the broken bit yet. I don't know. I'm just not.
Oh no, we got into the broken stuff fucking almost instantly.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't like. I was asking. I think I was talking to Kleb or someone last night, and I was like what we actually seen was broken, because I'm not seeing anything. Like, I'm not. The closest thing that I saw was a weird animation that was going on for like 5 or 6 seconds, and that was it. But otherwise, everything's been running fine, smooth. I haven't seen any problems in the game at all, so I'm not. Maybe I'm just super lucky. Anyway, it's a follow-up to Wildlands. It takes place on a remote island that has been taken over by some rogue ghosts, led by the Punisher, and you are on this island after being shot down in a plane, and you're trying to figure out exactly what is going on, and I guess go for revenge, try and find out what the Punisher's up to. And it's very like, once I've gotten in there and started to play it, I've definitely looked back at aspects of Wildlands that I've really liked, and it's starting to like really tickle those same sort of senses again, which was the getting into an area like a compound, doing your reconnaissance, finding out where everyone is, and then trying to figure out how to infiltrate it. I never really played Wildlands as a assault, like run and gun. Like, I would always jump in with my silenced weapons and take everybody out one at a time, and that sort of stuff, like work my way through it, like stealth in, unless things got loud, and then all of a sudden you just start, going for guns out. So yeah, I'm actually having like a lot of fun doing that, and it, for whatever reason, it feels less arcadey than Wildlands, even though it's got like this weird geared tiered system going on where you find loot out in the world, and it's got different gear stats on it. Like, it's sort of, I guess people are comparing it to like Destiny, but because I haven't played Destiny in so long, I just don't, like, that reference to me is pretty non-existent. Whereas when you play a game like the Division, for instance, you're getting gear and it's got scores on it and it does a certain amount of damage and whatnot, whereas this game's not, it doesn't feel like that at the moment. Like, the weapons are quite similar. What they're doing is, and I think this is what they're doing, the tiered items have like blues and purple or blues and greens and whatnot, and each of those have like a stat boost on it. So you've got like mobility and stamina and stealth and handling and things like that. And when you get these colored items, it adds to those stats. It'll be like plus 10 stealth, or plus 10 to, minus 10 to technical cooldown, which is your ultimate ability. And so that's kind of where I'm seeing those stats come into play. I'm not really seeing a huge amount come into like, this gun does now this much damage, or it shoots quicker. At least at the area that I'm in. Maybe that changes later on, but it doesn't seem to be hugely noticeable in terms of like the weapon differences.
You can definitely find, I mean, right at the start, right? I don't know if you took the shots or not. Right at the start, when you come across that cutscene where someone gets murdered at a fucking helicopter.
Yeah.
Your team. Did you choose to engage those people?
Can't remember.
If you did, you would have noticed that they were level 150 and you were
I've come
level
across
2.
those guys. Yeah.
And if you engage them, you would notice that you would die in 2 shots.
Yeah.
And they die to, I think it's, I don't know, 15.
Yeah.
Unless you shoot them in the head, in which case they're an insta-kill. So when we did it in the beta, when I did it in the alpha, me and Kleb, we died a couple of times just trying to do that. See what we could get away with. When we did it in the beta, we all headshot everyone down there, got some garbage loot. That was cool, but there's zero question that there is damage modification in there. Whether it be armor modification or what, maybe it's not damage, maybe it's literally armor, but...
Yeah, I think it's armor.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of those big guys have like armor on them, and I think what's going to happen is once you get to a certain point, your weapon is just kind of going to do, like, they're doing like a damage reduction or something on them.
Yeah.
Like you said, yeah, I think that's what's going
on. So yeah, there's definitely, like, that level system definitely has its impact. I mean, if you can probably still, you're in the free roam section, you can probably still find a fucking base that is level 150 right now.
Oh yeah, I've been into them. Yeah.
Yeah, like, as long, if you don't headshot them, you will die.
Yeah.
Real fast. And they'll have drones and shit that make it even tougher and all that kind of stuff.
Drones are hard.
That's, I think, yeah, that's what people are talking about. I think in terms of the Division shit, is that, you know, there are areas you can't go to because you're not powerful enough or whatever. But it's not reflected in your actual gear. It's reflected in the quality of your gear.
Yeah.
which I don't really agree with on a fundamental level, to be honest. Yeah.
I remember when I watched the first trailer, I had a problem. The shooting didn't seem right in that trailer. Like something felt off.
Yeah, I remember that.
It felt like really, like it didn't have weight or something. But like playing this, it feels like Wildlands. I'll get a sniper rifle out and aim it at a dude, hold my breath and fire a shot off, and I'll hit that target. You know, you got to follow the bullet drop and whatnot. But otherwise, the shooting feels pretty good from what we've been playing. The thing that I like about it the most, and it's crazy, but there's this thing called guided mode and exploration mode, and they've done this in other games before. I think they first put it into Assassin's Creed, where they kind of turned off a bunch of the the game mechanic-y stuff and just kind of let you walk around and explore for yourself. And the way they do it in this game is they turn off your objective markers. So you get an objective to be like, generally to be like, go find Henry or some dude. And you get a marker on the map. And you go to that marker and Henry's standing there. Whereas in this sort of exploration mode, and they say it's the way that the game is meant to be played as well, which in that case, I don't know why it's a toggleable thing. It should be the default way you play it, if that's the way they recommend you to play it. That's a different argument. But what they do is, now Henry's not a marker on the map, he's now 3 or 4 clues that they give you, and it'll basically be like, he was last seen northwest of blah blah pond, which, you know, and then it'll give you another clue like, you know, the southeast from this area. And so like they give you all these locations, and then what you do is you look at your giant map that you've got, and you're now deciphering like all these different clues that they've given you and being like, all right, where should I go look? And then
So it's Sea of Thieves.
yeah, sort of, yeah.
Nice.
But I think it's more the clues that I've seen have been generally they started off pretty basic. They get to a point where it's like, start looking near the destroyed car or something like that, or the destroyed vehicle. Yeah, like it gets that detailed at certain points. And so now you're like, all right, I'm looking on this map, it's saying it's north of here, but it's also saying it's to the east of this part on the map. So then you start triangulating like locations on your map, and you put down a beacon, and you're like, I'm gonna go look in this area. And eventually, like, you get to that area and you could be off by a little bit or whatever, but you start like exploring that location, and eventually you get to the point, you know, you find Henry or whoever it is you're looking for. I fucking love that. It's so cool.
That's pretty rad.
I'm 10 hours in and I've been playing it the entire time this way. The map is really, I guess, like, it's like a military map. It's got the contours of the elevations and that sort of thing on the map. It's extremely detailed. You get a real sense of, like, when it tells you to go to a specific area, you're like, all right, I kind of know where I'm looking, and you start triangulating the exact location of where you think you should be looking. It could be something simple as like, you need to go to this fort, and it's a giant fort, but once you get to that fort, you're now looking for intel, and it's not necessarily telling you where the intel is. You've got to search the entire fort to try and find this stuff. And I'm having so much fun playing it this way, as opposed to being like the game literally putting markers on the screen telling you where to go, like as a fetch quest. It feels like I'm playing a bit more of a puzzle game, like you said, Sea of Thieves, and I dig that. I don't know if I'm going to get to a point where I just get sick of it, and I'm like, just tell me where the fucking thing is I need to find. But I'm enjoying the, like, hey, go find to this fort, and then find the next part of the clue, and that sort of stuff is really, I'm enjoying that immensely. Like, I feel like that should have been on by default, and I also want more games to do this, because, yeah, it's really cool. Like, it might get to a point where I might play the next Assassin's Creed like this, if that is in there. Because it just, I feel like I read something about this in, like, if this was a thing in Red Dead Redemption 2, where they just turn off all your objective markers, and I guess it's sort of like that, like, you kind of just stumble upon quests and whatnot, but if you just like weren't given where you should be going, just like a short description of like a town or something like that, and then walk in and try and roleplay your way through it, that'd be awesome. So
That would be.
I really dig this, whatever they're doing with this exploration stuff. And then so on top of that, just the stealth mechanics, and I'm really enjoying stealthing my way through giant army bases and just fucking destroying people. It's a lot of fun.
Did you play MGS5?
Yeah.
How does it compare to that?
So MGS5 got to... I felt like MGS5 is very cartoony. Like, it's a slapstick.
Yeah.
Like, it obviously takes itself very seriously, but at the same time it does silly things with, like, sticking fucking...
Balloons.
Oh, yeah, balloons on people, or, like, decoys into the ground, and, like, little weird boxes and whatnot. There is definitely gadgets and things that you can get in the game to sort of allow you to stealth further. I just unlocked a drone that you can mark people, and you can do like a quick shot on them. Remember in the last game you had allies that would follow you around, and you would mark people and you do the countdown and then take them.
Yep.
Now it's a consumable that you can unlock and do it that way. But there's a thing like I'm going for it. I'm trying to unlock it. There's a blowtorch that you can get that'll cut like holes through wire fences, and I'm going for that immediately because fuck yeah, that sounds amazing. I've unlocked night vision goggles and fucking thermal goggles, and like you can shoot lights out at nighttime, and you know, to sort of fuck up the vision of players. There are generators throughout some of these camps that you can sabotage. There are certain items or certain like enemy like turrets and things like that you can hack. I don't know how deep it's going to go in terms of like the gimmicky gameplay mechanic stuff, but there's definitely things in the game that is not just walk in and shoot people. You know, I've started crafting C4 and grenades, and there's that sort of stuff in there. There's like crafting recipes to make your, improve your stamina or weapon handling and things like that. They're really going for this survival aspect of you being trapped on this island and trying to build all your resources. The thing that I'm not so sure about at the moment is I feel like I'm destroying people in one shot. But whenever I get caught and I get in a gunfight, I'm just soaking ammo. Like I can just stand there and be like taking all these shots. I don't know if it's because I've over leveled that specific area or something, or if it's just a really bullet spongy game for the player. But yeah, it just doesn't feel like it feels like everybody else is going down in 2 or 3 shots, unless I headshot them. But if I get shot, we can take like 20 bullets and I'm fine.
Weird.
So it's really weird about that. Animation system they're doing some really cool things with that. In particular, the first time it happened, I was walking down a hill, and I don't know if this is in the beta, but I was walking down a hill, and the hill got too steep, and then so the guy starts like sliding with his feet, and it got to a point where I was like, oh, this is pretty fun, I'm just kind of like sliding. And what I didn't notice, there's a stamina bar at the bottom, and once that stamina bar hits 0, it's not a good thing, and all of a sudden my guy just starts rolling and tumbling down this hill. I fucking lost it. Like I was laughing so hard because something you do not expect to see. Like I've not seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that before in a game where you lose your footing on a hill and off you go. That's it. It starts rolling down the hill. So that's really cool. Like they're doing things in terms of realism and like trying to manage your stamina and whatnot. But on the other side, it's like, why am I being shot at? I'm taking like 20 rounds to try and kill me. Like I feel like maybe I do need to do it. Maybe I fucked up and I've chosen the wrong difficulty. I'm thinking I might go back in there and put it on another tier up for my difficulty because I want it to be challenging. I don't want to I want to feel like I'm stealthing the game, and if I fuck up, then I want there to be consequences, right?
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I'm having that at the moment. So, yeah, I think I'm going to go and change the difficulty. But yeah, just like the animations of walking up hills and the amount of like energy that will take, and you got to really manage like I don't know if I can really walk up this hill. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should go find a motorbike and motorbike my way up there. So yeah, I'm digging all that sort of stuff. I think I'm 9 hours in, and my story progress is at 0%. I've not done anything. I've done so much in this game, but I've done like no story progress, and the amount of area that I've covered on the map is so small. Like, yeah, I'm very surprised at how much I'm enjoying this so far. I don't think it's doing like anything wildly different from Wildlands, but I'm just enjoying what it's doing. Like, I'm having fun playing.
Yeah.
It might get to a point where I just feel like I'm literally doing the same thing constantly, which is what a lot of these games are, right? You just jump into a base, you annihilate everybody, and you go to the next base. Do the same thing over and again. And the puzzle element is trying to figure out how to get into those bases and how to clear everybody out. So yeah, that's the parts that I'm really enjoying, like flying my drone in and doing recon and tagging all the enemies, and then being like, all right, how am I gonna deal with my entry and that sort of stuff. So that stuff is really cool. There's different weather effects. Game looks amazing. There are drones that fly overhead that can spot you and call in reinforcements. Where you got to like hide behind trees or hide in the grass. The grass looks phenomenal in this game. I think that the drones and they do like spy planes that kind of fly over every once in a while. I think that's happening way too often. That needs to be toned down, I feel like. Because I just don't really know what that's adding. I guess as a team, it'd be harder. Like, if you're playing with 3 other people trying to communicate, like, there's a drone coming, get the fuck down, and then everybody gets down or tries to get out of the way, then that's probably more rewarding. But playing by yourself, it just kind of gets tedious with being like, oh,
right,
another drone.
Yeah.
I kind of know what I'm doing. It just feels like they're coming too often, and they're not really causing any problems for me anyway. Yeah, I haven't really had a chance to play around with any of the co-op stuff in terms of, there's this whole injury system that they've got in there, and being able to pick up your injured players and that sort of thing. That seems really cool. So I haven't had a chance to do that, but I want to. There's tons and tons of stuff to do. There's like the PvP section, which I haven't checked out. There's faction assignments. There's weapon attachments that you can go out and get in the world, which the last game had as well. And there's kind of like your main missions and your side missions, and it seems like it's not like there's a story and there's an overall arc to the story, but you can kind of just jump in and play it your own sort of way or in your own order. And there's obviously these areas that are like, you need to be level 150 or have a gear score of 100 to try and get in here, but it seems like you can still do it. Like you said, you can just go in and headshot people if you want to, or stealth your way through it. So yeah, I'm pretty surprised at how much fun I'm having so far. Whether or not that tails off in the next couple of days, I'll see, but yeah, I'm digging it. I'm surprised it's not a broken mess, because all I heard was how broken this game was.
It was fucked. It was so fucked in the beta. Yeah. Oh my lord. Yeah, it was so fucked, and it just didn't feel satisfying to play in any sense.
Yeah,
because it just felt like you were like, it wasn't like DayZ fucked. Like, you weren't getting heavily punished for the mistakes. It was mostly just like goofy fucked.
Yeah.
Which I think is more poisonous at the end of the day. I just can't personally reconcile the fucking gear system, to be honest. Like, just fundamentally, I feel like adding a division-style gear system is a mistake that I don't know how I'm going to get over. Like, right. I want to play it, and I think it's something that we could probably play together, which makes it better. But, yeah, I just don't understand.
The thing is, I don't understand what the gear is doing. That's my point. Like, there's a gear system in there, and I don't feel like it's doing anything other than giving me mobility stats. And even then, I'm like, eh.
It just feels like a system that's in place to slow down progression again, or to, like, it just feels like unnecessary gamification, in my opinion. Like, yeah, the idea that, like, we you don't need to craft shit or whatever. Like, we can't just pick stuff up, and the fact that I can't just go to a location and get the attachment I want for my gun or whatever the fuck. I gotta unlock it somehow or find it or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, so most of the base guns have attachments on them, but it's like the extra, like if you want to find different types of optic scopes or things like that, and you can go, all right, where is it? And then look on your list, and then click on it, and you can pin it. Oh, by the way, you can pin multiple objectives as well, which is fucking amazing. Like, every game needs that. Yeah, but go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, that's about it. How does pinning objectives work with the exploration system?
Oh, so you basically go into your map or your objective screen, and you can ping 3 objectives, and you click on the one that you want, and then it kind of moves over to the log, and you just slot it into whichever log you want, and then it's there, and it shows you your clues.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
The only thing I'll say about that is it's a bit intrusive, because it's always, or for the most part, it's always there. I've got my HUD set to dynamic, which means that if there's nobody around me, then element starts switching off, or if I'm not in an objective area, it starts switching off. What I would like to happen is the map to stay, and the fuck off the objectives. Like, I don't need to see the objectives if I'm in an area that I know I'm in. Piss off. Map, you can stay. That's the only negative thing I've got about that. But man, we talked about this when I played Borderlands. Like, I want to be able to have multiple objectives on the screen and see what I'm doing. And this game, you know, there's a limit. You can put 3, but you don't need that. Like,
3 is better than 1.
Yeah, so you can have an objective, your current objective, and then your like assault class objective. So I'm playing assault, and it'll be like gets 30 kills with an SMG, get 2 kills within 5 seconds with a grenade or something like that, and then you can like check those off, and that gives you kind of like experience and that sort of thing. And then you can have like a daily on the side as well. It'll be like go blow up a truck. I don't know. But yeah, I dig that there's a way to pin multiple objectives on the screen. Very handy, and more games need to use that. So, and it seems huge, man. Like, I jumped into a helicopter to go to an objective that was south of the map. It took me fucking ages to get there. Like, I'm talking about minutes to fly in a helicopter. The map is enormous, which is really fun. And I want to play some. I want to jump in and check out PvP and see how that's going. Like, if it's as campy as the last game, because they made a bunch of changes in there to try and negate that. So keen to check that out. But otherwise, yeah, I want to jump in with some of you guys and play some like Rambo shit, some stealth, and find a base and just go in there and fucking destroy it. Because there's a bunch of different. I'm thinking of switching up my class. I'm not 100% sure because I'm playing Assault. I'll maybe want to switch to Panther, which is the stealth class, because I'm playing it more stealthy at the moment. I don't know. Maybe I'll change it. Maybe I'll change it at some stage. But I'm enjoying it as a stealth game. So, yeah. I am wildly surprised, as I said, at how much I'm enjoying it so far. It's a lot of fun. Story is whatever. Like, not really too engaged about what's going on in the story. And what's going on with the Punisher, but yeah, it seems fine. Like, yeah, if you like a shooty game, and you like I feel like it's a bit more hardcore than, or at least the game that I'm playing, it feels a bit more hardcore than Wildlands. Yeah, maybe check it out if Wildlands was your jam.
All right, cool.
For sure.
Nice. Alrighty. Let's do some news.
We got some news. Kicking off with some Sony news. Shawn Layden has departed as the president or CEO.
Yeah.
Of Sony Entertainment. Sony.
Big cheese.
Big cheese. Kind of an abrupt, like, news story.
I didn't see it coming.
Well, I don't think anybody saw it coming, and it seems to be, like pretty much just like hey, this is happening, it's happening now, as opposed to like, hey, he's
like,
leaving, and he's leaving
right now, it's gone.
6 months, you know, like kind of like what they were doing with like Nintendo and Reggie, that sort of thing, like hey, he's stepping down or whatever, just like no, he's gone. Which makes you wonder like what happened.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a story there, but it's a bit early to say. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I think Layden was in charge for like a number of really good years for PlayStation, so I'm sure it's sad to see him go. Yeah, and you know, this happening just before they're supposed to announce, or prior to the announcement of PlayStation 5, when they were teasing aspects of it but not actually announcing it. I think that's interesting. Hopefully it wasn't some sort of massive internal conflict that led to him leaving. It would be surprising if the chairman had to leave because he couldn't get his fucking way. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's entirely Shawn, but Shawn was definitely in charge when they decided to switch from the nightmare that was the cell processor across to the x86 architecture, x86, x64, whatever the fuck I'm using in the PS4, which was obviously a really good, like a spectacular move for PlayStation, and led it to be the market leader for this console generation. Yeah, I don't know, maybe he left because he absolutely flat out refuses to allow crossplay. It's chucking its ante. And they switched it on today. Yeah.
Baker not coming back to reprise his role as Reese, one of the CEOs of one of the gun companies. Do you remember?
No.
Cool. We're amazing at this.
We're so good.
We're pretty good. So yeah, there's been some back and forwards about this since kind of like the announcement of the game. Troy Baker, I think, was originally very surprised about seeing his character showing up in that trailer, because as far as he knew, he hadn't signed on to do anything, and so it turned out that they actually replaced his character, and this whole sort of Twitter war started where somebody asked why like Troy Baker wasn't doing it, and Randy Pitchford kind of went on and said that he was told that the role was turned down by Troy, and then like Troy's people came back and said no, that's not the case, we didn't turn it down, and then Randy was on Twitter again saying, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. And so now that some more details come out about it. Basically, Troy Baker is part of a union for voice actors and actors in general, and Gearbox, by the sounds of it, didn't want to agree to signing people in the union, and so therefore wasn't able to employ, or Troy's not able to take that role unless those sort of terms are met. And the weird thing about this, though, is that all this information came out, and then Gearbox started talking about how like that wasn't true, and that they were like happy for how Troy's career kicked off after they cast him in the Borderlands role. And you're like, what?
Whoa!
Yeah.
That's certainly one reaction. I didn't see this. I didn't see up to this part of it. Good lord.
Yeah.
How did they get there? How did they arrive at that? That's insane.
Yeah, it was basically like, oh, we're happy, that how Troy's career has sprung after we cast him.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll see if I can find the quote. Here we go. We also believe strongly in hiring local voice actors whenever we can, which is why we're thrilled Troy's career really took off after working with us.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So yeah, they're spinning some shit here. It sounds really weird. So it wasn't a case of Troy Bacon turning down the role, but they're saying that Gearbox wouldn't agree to working on a union agreement, so therefore he wasn't allowed to take the job because they need to agree to it for them to take those jobs. So yeah,
right.
Anyway,
I guess
that still seems to be ongoing. This whole thing, like the story I'm looking at, has been updated like 4 times at the moment on Kotaku. Like every day, there's a new thing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's fun. All right.
Yeah, that's just pointless drama, I guess. Like, just dumb drama. But yeah, Gearbox should definitely drop it. There's nothing to gain, and being petty, good lord, what the fuck are they going to get out of that?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
That is dumb. Anyway, all right, moving on.
Cool. You want to do the next one? This is yours, isn't it?
Yeah. PS4 crossplay exits beta phase. We fucking literally should have done this after the Shawn Layden one where we were talking about this.
No.
But basically, yeah, PS4 crossplay has been in beta because they didn't want to admit that it worked. It at one point literally worked by accident in Fortnite. By accident. They turned it on accidentally. So they had to beta test it to make sure that it worked fine. Even though, yeah, it was so simple to do that they had it working by accident. Anyway, it's officially exiting the beta phase and is now an open option for all developers. Should have happened a long fucking time ago. It's awesome to see it's happening now. I think PUBG just went crossplay as well, PS4 and Xbox.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. All console games should have crossplay, in my opinion. I strongly believe that. I also strongly believe that console players will get fucking pantsed if they try and play against PC players. But if
they want to, just go for it.
If they want to get froggy, then jump, baby. Yeah, like if that's what they want, then they should do it. It shouldn't be restricted. Yeah. That's basically it. I don't know. Crossplay, it's just more people to play with at the end of the day. It might not matter that much to, your listeners over in America, Luke, where the population levels are much higher. But for my listeners here in Australia, yeah, we still deal with population limitations from time to time. So, yeah, it's definitely a good thing. Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
And the final piece of news is Arnie is in Mortal Kombat 11, or coming to Mortal Kombat 11 as part of a Terminator promotion. And I believe Sonya Blade is getting was it like a Terminator Hunter skin, or basically just a Sarah Connor skin? So she gets to dress like Sarah Connor. Yeah, I'm loving the marketing efforts they're doing with games for this Terminator movie. I've absolutely zero faith that it's going to be any good. At this point, I expect it to be terrible. But, yeah, I love what they've done to promote it. Yeah, I think fucking they've had enough there's more bad Terminator movies than there are good ones. So my default position is this one's probably going to be bad, but I am keen to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
And outside of that, yeah, the fucking Terminator stuff in Mortal Kombat 11 looks fucking sick. They're doing awesome shit. You watched the trailer, obviously, because you shared it with me. The bit where Scorpion lights him on fire and he turns into just the fucking skeleton. Oh my god. Is he invincible at that point as well? Like, the fucking spear doesn't work and stuff. I don't know what's going on there, but fuck, it was cool. It was so rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that is how you do that shit. Breakpoint's got some Terminator shit coming as well,
Oh yeah.
which I am excited to check out. Just because of just off the back of the quality of the fucking Predator one.
Predator stuff, yeah.
Oh my god. Just do another fucking Predator one. Just do a fucking Predator game, damn it. Anyway. And don't let Shane Black.
They are doing a Predator game, Joe.
Shut up, you. Anyway, yeah. What'd you think? You loved Arnie.
Yeah, I it's weird. Yeah, I mentioned this to you guys. It seems like they've got two different voice actors halfway through that thing. I don't know what is happening at the start of that clip, but then all of a sudden, like halfway through, it's like it sounds more like Arnie. Like it's not him, but it's it's not even trying to sound like him at the first part.
I'm actually the voice actor.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I hope that's all coming together for you. That's my Arnie, by the way.
It's me.
It's also my Christopher.
Dr. Bokta.
Yeah. That was a bit weird, but I was still stoked with the rest of it. It looked fucking rad.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's it.
Any
Alrighty.
questions?
I believe we did have questions. I believe we did. Questions from last week.
Ooh.
Okay, September 24. That must be it. Baz asks, why do your PCs look like they were put together blindfolded? At least Luke's isn't full of dust. Makes me wonder if those are planes we keep hearing or just your PC gasping for air to keep it cool. Also, for PC gaming on the go, have you owned gaming laptops or just use your standard laptops with less demanding games? So why do the PCs look like they were put together blindfolded? That's how it's called hard mode. And the basic process of putting together a PC has become so tedious and boring for me that I need to do it with some sort of... no, my fucking PC's put together right. Like, fuck off. All my cables are hidden. There's decent airflow. I just don't fucking close the case so the dust settles. And, like, who cares about hanging SSD drives? As I said last week, they weigh about fucking 13 grams. It doesn't matter if they're dangling. They're not doing anything. Nothing's moving inside of that fucking case. I don't want to fucking hear it. Luke doesn't have any excuses. He put together his new PC and it's still a fucking travesty. I don't understand why you don't hide your fucking cables.
Which cables? They're hidden.
They're not hidden. I saw a fucking picture of it. It's still awful. They're
For the
still
most part,
fucking
they're
everywhere.
hidden.
For the most part, like, that's... What the fuck... Like, how the fuck does that matter? For the most part.
Well, they
hide your
still
fucking cables.
fucking go into something on the motherboard.
Yeah, and you can still hide them better.
I don't
Christ. It is playing. It makes me wonder if planes or just my PC go. My PC is cool as fuck. Okay, it's just dusty. Okay. If anything, being dusty is super cool, which is why I'm always super cool on Saturday mornings because I'm dusty, baby. And PC gaming on the go. Have you owned gaming laptops or just use your standard laptops? I'm still a big believer in the Surface. They announced new Surfaces today. They announced a fucking dual screen Surface. Did you see this shit? Like a foldable fucking Surface running Android or some shit. I think it's a phone, which is pretty fucking wild. But yeah, no, I'm still a huge believer in the Surface as a portable gaming machine. I do not think that you will ever get like the fucking home PC experience out of your gaming laptop, but I do think that if you're willing to make compromises, then you're really able to put together something that will like work fucking well and provide you with a lot of really good options. As long as you're willing to like lower your expectations a little and just go for games that like work well on that platform, which I guess is what you're already doing for Switch games, right? But you can play better games on a Surface. You can play games better on a Surface than you can on a Switch. Switch Dead Cells runs worse at a worse resolution than Surface Dead Cells. So, yeah, flat out. Yeah. Anyway, if Microsoft has heard that plug and wants to send me one of the new fucking Surfaces, I would really enjoy that. I'd appreciate it a lot. But they probably won't because they're pricks. And yeah, what about you, Luke? Your wife plays on a laptop, doesn't she?
She did.
She doesn't anymore.
She's got my old PC now.
Ah, look at her. She's moving up. Where you go? Husband of the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had a gaming laptop, right? It's like a fucking Alienware, wasn't it? Like 90% of your shipping costs to get all your stuff over.
Yeah.
Was probably for that fucking beast of a thing.
Yeah,
it's
it's
fucking
huge. It's massive.
They had to reinforce the legs on the table it was on. Yeah, it was fucking insane. Yeah, there's definitely no reason to have a fucking gaming laptop, I believe, because the end result. I mean, there are fucking some spectacular. Actually, I saw this fucking HP Omen one. I was doing some video work with Red Bull, and they had this fucking HP Omen laptop that had a full blown 2070 in it. And it was like not quite, but real close to Ultrabook thin, which was pretty fucking impressive. I was actually pretty fucking blown away by that. I think you could actually play fucking regular games on that thing. I believe they were playing fucking PUBG on it, and it looked good, like real fucking good.
It was I haven't run PUBG yet, but I wonder how that runs. Probably still like that.
Yeah, run as good as PUBG can. But yeah, this laptop fucking knocked it out of the park. But I think you're paying through the nose for that experience. Still, yeah, I think that's it, right? Like, you got to work out what it is you want more of. Do you want, I don't know, $1,500 to, or do you want to buy a regular laptop, and just play worse games?
Yeah.
If you decide, you want the $1,500, then just go to a regular laptop. If you don't need the $1,500, go a gaming laptop, and chuck the extra $1,500 into your laptop budget. But yeah, I'm not saying the laptop itself is gonna. I'm saying laptop price plus $1,500 will get you that sort of fucking laptop. I think they look fucking sick though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was super fucking impressed. Yeah. Anyway, Baz writes. Oh, it's also Baz. Why is there not more handheld devices to compete with the Switch? There is the GDP Win 2 Link provided. What? Oh, Link provided. And S Mark Z coming out soon. I'd not heard of the GDP Win 2. Right, so it's sort of like the fucking, what was that Nvidia thing that had, the Shield?
Shield, yeah.
Right? Yeah, I don't understand why that we haven't seen more Shield type things. I don't think I would want to play, the good thing about the fucking, my Surface solution is that it's still a 1080p screen, right? So I can still watch full resolution legally acquired movies when I'm on the go as well, or TV shows and stuff. It's still basically, and I can also use it for work. So I can run Adobe Premiere on that thing. I can make dumb videos that nobody watches, all that kind of stuff. Still works on my fucking Adobe on my fucking Surface, which is why I think at the end of the day, it's still preferable. I wouldn't want to have to carry a work laptop and a gaming device and my Switch. I'm still going to take my Switch overseas, and then when the battery runs out on it an hour in, I'm going to switch to my Surface. But yeah, no, I just think it's too many things. I do agree that it's weird that more things haven't attempted to move into the Switch's general market.
I just think they're completely in their own league. just because of the content they make. Like when Sony put out the was it the Vita or the PSP? The last one that they put out, the handheld one.
Vita.
It was a beast. That thing was like stacked full of technology, and it didn't sell.
It sold like shit.
Yeah, and you look at what Nintendo does, and we joke about it all the time, but Nintendo don't make fucking video games. They just release games. They make less games than Valve at this stage, and Basil liked that one. Just like, what was the last big game that they put out that was new? Was it Breath of the Wild?
No, Odyssey,
right?
Like, Mario Odyssey,
big AAA game. Although people are going to argue that it's Mario Maker or something like that, but they just don't put out like, it's a lot of remastered stuff and older games, and I just don't. I think they're in their own sort of little bubble, and it's working for them. They got that nostalgia thing going for them. So, like,
I suppose it would be daunting to attempt to approach their market as well. Yeah. Without the same,
their fan base is just so big.
Seeing the test cases like the Vita that have gone before it and failed, it would be a daunting move.
Yeah. The Vita was an awesome piece of hardware. It was so good.
It was sick.
Just nobody bought it. Like, it even had good games on there. So.
Yep.
Anyway.
I had 2 of them. Squirrel asks, how do people clear out the dust? Squirrel, clearly I have no fucking idea. I don't know if you've seen pictures of my fucking case, but it's obviously beyond me. I think most people just try to not let there be dust in the first place. But beyond that, I've got no fucking clue.
Like, do you put dust in there every week or something? Is that your thing?
Obviously, what I do is I vacuum the rest of my house, and you got to put the dust somewhere. So I'm like, fucking.
That's where your hose goes from the vacuum cleaner, right? Straight into your PC. That's how you vacuum.
The fan on my graphics card is actually what's sucking the hose. And because I don't have sex with my vacuum cleaner, there's no cum in my computer. So, which is obviously a good thing. You don't want cum in your computer.
No.
Then it's a computer.
How long have you been working on that before?
Like a couple of years. I'm nearly there, I think.
Needs some work.
Anyway, Luke, any thoughts on how to clear out dust?
I used to get the I used to kind of just open up the sides and take it outside and use air canister on it.
Right. Yeah. I might do that. I might try that. I'll have a punt at that.
Yeah.
So I got to take it outside first, though, right?
Well, unless you want dust in your house.
I don't, but at this point,
you got to unplug everything first. Don't take your whole.
Right.
Yeah, don't feel that part.
There is a window just above it. I could probably just hold it out the window.
Yeah.
Hold it one-handed, and then spray it out the window.
Yeah.
No, probably. I'm only on the second story, so if I dropped it, it wouldn't be. It'd be devastating to the computer, but not that devastating.
Sure.
Probably be. I don't think it'd be obliterated.
Well, the good thing is you get a new computer then.
That is true. I could get a 10th generation Intel.
You could.
Unlike some people,
are you going to
get a good PC?
Doing the podcast now or something for us?
I can make dumb videos so much faster. Oh my lord! Attention.
What's it called? Breakpoint has a really good frame rate counter and computer stats counter, really detailed. And my CPU is running at 30% or something like that when I'm playing that game. It's
nice.
It's not doing a lot.
Sweet.
Anyway.
Cool.
That's it. That's the questions for this week. Thank you, everybody. Good breadth of questions. Squirrel, I don't know what Squirrel's doing, but
squirrel things.
Yeah, squirrel things. All right. That's the show. You can find us on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, YouTube, all those places. You can find us on the Gap or the GA Podcast. If you do have a couple of moments, please rate and review the show. Helps other people find it. You can email us, thegapodcast@gmail.com, otherwise.com. See what I did there? You can...
That's my joke!
Yeah, stolen. You can also find us on Discord, thegapodcast.com/Discord, if you want to jump in and leave us any questions. Everyone was playing Breakpoint, jump into there. I changed one of the channel names to...
I saw. Hunting the Punisher.
Hunting the Punisher. Yeah, with a little skull as well.
Yeah.
I think that was the... can't remember what channel it was. Division.
How come when you add emojis, it's always like they're colourful, and when I add them, they're fucking shit?
I think because you're not very good at this sort of stuff.
Why is it whenever I ask you a genuine question, you always tell me it's because I'm not very good?
Yeah. Well, it's just giving you truths.
You never fucking answer the question, though. God damn it.
I don't know how you're finding these emojis, but it's... Like, are you going to the, 1980s and finding them and then coming back?
Look, my time travel machine only has one function.
Yeah, to copy and paste through DOS.
Yeah.
All right. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/GAPodcast, twitter.com/GAPodcast. You can find us on YouTube, thegapodcast.com/YouTube. We're also on... Yeah, that's everything. Our website, thegapodcast.com. You can find all the links to the things we just talked about, including past episodes of the show. And that's all run thanks to our Patreon members. If you want to help support this show and our website, keep the bills paid and running, you can go to patreon.com/GAPodcast. And thank you everyone that does it every month. It is greatly appreciated.
You're the best.
And I think that is it. You got anything you want to pimp out for this week?
We got a story going up tomorrow on Red Bull that is about fucking the how RTX is going to impact like competitive gaming, which I think Nate wrote that up. It's pretty interesting. He had to branch out. It's interesting how that story sort of came about, because his initial reaction was that it was going to, be huge in games like Battlefield, but he actually found it to be a much bigger deal in the likes of like Call of Duty and stuff, which is pretty cool. It's a good story. Definitely read it, and you have a piece up on Red Bull talking about ranks, which is an interview. The only interview that anyone fucking got, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
I
think Lad Bible interviewed them as well. That was a video.
We can't compete with Lad Bible.
No.
Apart from that, we did scoop every other cunt. So
yeah,
screw it.
Yeah. So that was with Drew McCoy, the lead, and also the lead on the ranked mode as well. Chin
Zhang Shong.
Yeah, very cool dudes to talk to.
And you sent it to me in a fucking docx file, which is the worst thing that has ever happened to me.
I'm going to send it in a notepad next time.
That'd be fucking better. That would actually be a fucking improvement.
What's the other one on here? Word something. WordPad.
Word. Yeah. Send it in a fucking XLX file.
I'm going to PDF it.
XLS. XSLX.
A spreadsheet.
Or something. PDF, yeah, that'd be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, each word is in a new cell.
I can do that. Yeah. So you can go to Red Bull for that. You can also go to Survivor.com. I put some stuff up for Apex Legends as well. Just some first look stuff that's not really relevant anymore, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, there's a couple articles up there. It was busy week. So
yep.
Anyway, it was good fun. Apex. I like Apex a lot, so it was good to meet everyone and get to talk to some of the devs that with some of the issues that I've got with it and some of the things that I liked. So yeah. Otherwise, I've got some other stuff going up within the next week, but I can't talk about it yet. So keep an eye out for those.
Cool.
Yep. What about you? Anything else?
I got stuff. Yeah, you'll see it. I'll
see it.
pip it out next week. I don't have anything going up before next week, so Yeah.
All right. You can find me on twitter.com.
Oh, actually.
/Luke Lawrie.
Actually,
Joby
go
Jojo.
to my YouTube,
See you later. Bye.
youtube.com/JobyJojo, and watch my fucking KFC video.
Yeah.
Just watch it for the voices.
Yeah.
That's about it. Anyway, yeah.
For your racist voices. Oh no.
They're not racist. No, I deliberately steered away from any racist voices.
You said there was a British woman or something in there.
I can't be racist against British people
Why not?
because they're my oppressors.
Oh.
As a 3/4 Irishman.
Okay, fair enough. Yep. Okay, whatever you say, Doctor.
Dr. Boxer.
All right, that's it. Thanks everyone listening. We're back next week.